Electric slide into the devil doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know when it is time. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. One star, would not recommend that we go far from here. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. A music podcast for the culture, wild, wild thoughts.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Wild, Wild Thoughts. Here with my boy V Ray. Good to have you back. I know you've been super busy, so we ain't gonna keep you on too long. But you know, we got a whole lot to talk about. So first, I don't know if you got a chance to hear it, but there was a new Drake drop today. He dropped like a whole new joint with a bunch of songs. Like he dropped a ton of songs. So what did you think? Did you get to hear any of it? And if you did, what did you think of?
I heard like 3 songs. I mean, it seems like he went back to that lane that he was in, trying to like connect with 21 Savage and you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So it kind of sounded like the same thing. The World Beat joint, I don't know the names of any of the ones that I heard today. But the World Beat kind of joint, I kind of like that. Because it kind of goes out of that vein and goes into something not necessarily new, but at least not, been there, seen that kind of stuff from him right now. I just don't like these collabs, honestly, a whole lot. I mean, a couple of them are cool, but the overall body of work don't justify how many songs you got to listen to hear one that's kind of half-ass cool.
Right. You know what? And that's how I feel, right? Like, I feel like if you was going to come, you had to come with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was going to come back, you should have came back with something super hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like he didn't. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I feel like it was a miss because after that, and after dealing with all of that stuff with Kendrick and, like, bro, you got to come. I think he should have just went away for a while.
I think so too. Longer than he shut the fuck up for a few weeks, but he should have let the public's ears rest and then came back with something just undeniably, hard and just another direction altogether from where we last heard from him from. Because he's got the potential, he's got the arsenal and shit like that. I mean, he embarrassed himself trying to go up against Kendrick, but he's still a good artist, and stuff like that. But yeah, what he came with was just like he stopped what he was doing, got into it with Kendrick, and then resumed what he was doing.
Yeah, and again, like I said, because like you said, I feel like it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it wasn't terrible, but it's just like, bro, like if this is what you was dealing with and this is what was going on, you should have came back a little later or came back with something stronger. Like I just feel like this is not what you can come back with after all of that. You can't slide back in like everything is cool,
Yeah, I think he did more harm than good trying to come back too soon. I know the danger of losing relevance on the coattails of the Kendrick thing is a thing. I get that, but he still should have came with something harder. It should have been something way more original and just some other like. It should have been like, have you heard that Drake shit, bro? Like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And I think even Drake fans probably was like, the riders for Drake will most likely. Well, I don't know. They own the Kool-Aid, but it just seemed like it was a disappointment. It has the potential to be that.
Yeah, like I said, if you're gonna come back, and then he did like some weird stuff. He started like a new Instagram and was posting stuff about different artists and stuff, and posting interviews. And I did like the idea of how he posted like the website and had all that stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. It's like new, a little different. It was a different vibe, different way to drop music and pictures and stuff like. So I thought that was dope. Kind of like he gave everybody a little peek into his Dropbox folder. So I thought that was smart. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not that I hated the songs or like they were super trash. I just think
Yeah.
after coming from that battle, I don't think this is the way you come back unless you feel like I'm just gonna keep doing what I do and sneak in and like you said, feed my base. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the base, even though he clearly got his ass whooped, you know what I'm saying? If he would have came back with something like super hard, then his base could have been like, "See, I told you he was great," but it's like, you know, it's the same thing.
I
I
do
mean,
like
if
that
there
he
was,
came
as
back
if
as
the
Drake with the
Kendrick thing
melodies.
didn't happen, huh?
I said I did like that he came back as Drake with the melodies. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like you said, it's like he came back as if he's just coming back off another album. He
Right.
came back as if like it's almost like if somebody get beat up and they walk in the house and act like ain't nothing happened. And you like, yo, what happened to your face? Nothing.
Yeah, while your
You
shirt
know,
tore up.
yeah, shirt all tore up and breathing hard. Like, and you like, what happened? And that's what you know what I'm saying. Like, you feel like that's what happened with Drake. Like, he came in like nothing happened. Like, bro, you just got your ass whooped. You just gonna walk in
Yeah,
like ain't none of that happened. You're like, yeah,
right.
I'm just gonna turn the mic on. I'm doing
Yeah,
another song.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought
There's a
that
way
was
you got to
interesting.
save face at that level. You can't just pretend like shit didn't happen.
No, man, because like I said, that was like literally that was like the biggest thing of the summer. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing in the summer. If that being the biggest thing of the summer, you can't just come back and act like it didn't happen, or you can't come back and you know what I'm saying? Like you have to at least acknowledge it, or if you're not going to acknowledge it, like I said, the record got to be crazy. Like you
exactly.
have to come back with a crazy record.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
switch up producers of different production vibe, and and something I think more melodic would have been a better strategy too, because you know that was him in spades for the longest time, and like you said, the switch in his style and cadence and subjects and shit like that isn't super trash, but if you want an undeniable, you got to drop something just undeniable. Just like even Kendrick fans got to be like, yeah, that nigga, that's a solid joint, you know.
And that's
So
what I was looking for. I was looking
yeah,
for like, did he drop that undeniable record where you're like, oh, he's back, or this gonna make people forget about Not Like Us, or at least
yeah,
just after Not Like you know what I'm saying? Like it have to be, you know, one or the other. Like I don't know. I don't know if he had that record from what I've heard so far. Like I ain't got it was a bunch of records too. I ain't get to listen.
yeah,
But the ones I listened to so far, I don't think I've heard that like undeniable smash hit record
yeah.
that'll change the conversation because that's what it is. He needs a record that's gonna change the conversation.
And you
Because
know
right now the
what?
conversation yeah, go ahead.
By the same token, Kendrick, whatever he come with next, you know what I'm saying? The pressure's on him to keep the conversation going, you know, of this new echelon that he established. Um, so he can't he got to come way correct like a motherfucker as well and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't come with just another regular Kendrick record, although a regular Kendrick record is going would be an excellent record, you know what I mean? But now the expectation is just like you just fucking, you know, you've elevated yourself to like almost unrealistic expectations level. So it better be a banger like a motherfucker, man.
Well, yeah, like you said, like you done made yourself the king now. So
Yeah,
that means whatever you come with next, it got to be like top of the food chain. It
right.
got to be like you said, he got to come with something undeniable as well. He got to come with something that's also going to change the conversation, right? His next
Yeah,
record got to change the conversation from like, oh, he can only come hard when it's about Drake, because that's what a lot of people are saying. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
like, if it ain't about Drake, he ain't motivated enough to give you a hit record in the way that people think. Because you know, it's funny. Like Kendrick always had hit records, but I don't think he's looked at as a commercial artist in the way that Drake is looked at. So,
yeah.
but I think now he's in that place. You know what I mean? Like we did a show with like I want to say maybe it was in San Diego, maybe like 70% like white folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just start on one of the end of one of the other songs. I just started doing hey, 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 run for your life, and all the white people singing. I said, oh, it's different now. You know what I mean? I'm like
Yeah,
that. I could never pull up like a To Pimp a Butterfly joint and 70% of the white audience is going to sing that song.
yeah,
Maybe I Love Myself because that was a huge record. Maybe I Love Myself, maybe.
yeah,
But the way Not Like Us has entered the zeitgeist right now, like you said, he got to come with something crazy
yeah,
and to kind of keep that keep that wave. Unfortunately, not saying he got to make something that sound like Not Like Us, but he can't go totally back to the super Afrocentric records and totally back to the
Right.
Afrocentric music.
Right.
He kind of got to try, I guess, find a balance of like the Not Like Us crowd and the To Pimp a Butterfly crowd. I think that's what he's going to be dealing with,
Yeah.
to come on the next record.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Notorious Big and Nipsey Hussle had a baby and shit. Kind of.
Right. No, exactly. Right. Because it's got to be like lyrical, what we used to, but then the beats got to bang.
Yeah, the
You know
beats
what I'm
got to
saying?
bang.
Like
Yeah.
the beats got to bang. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like if he stays in that pocket, like the joint right before Not Like Us that came on.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. If he gotta give us a few more joints in that pocket, I think he can do that and still like, go back and give us some of that Good Kid Mad City type joints, still give us some of that To Pimp a Butterfly type joints. But it's gonna have to be like he gotta like ride a fine line between the two in order to like keep his core audience and also keep that new audience that he's gained from being like the number one guy right now.
Right. Hey, yeah. Let me mute this for 1 second, man. My order just came in.
All right, for sure.
Haven't said that. I don't know how the fuck to do it. So y'all about to hear me pay for some fish. Hi there. How are you? Thank you very much.
Like me to bring this in for you?
No, I'll just take it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hope you can read this.
Yeah, no problem. As long as you like your autograph,
Great.
Y'all watching V Ray living large and in charge. You know what I'm saying, in the hotel paying for room service. Y'all get the real behind the scenes live action.
I heard them. I got your door.
All right, thank you.
How y'all doing out there though? How y'all feeling out there in Facebook world and Instagram world? What's going on? What do y'all think? Have y'all heard the new Drake records? And if you have, like, what do you think of the new Drake records? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm trying not to be biased because, like I said, I really listen to the record with an open ear. I really listen to the record trying to be open-minded about it. And when I listen to the new records, I was like, they're not bad, because I don't think the records are bad. They're not bad records, but I just don't know if this is the record that you can come back with after, the summer we just had. All right, we got to be right back.
Good deal, man. Sorry about that, bro. So
no, I was the one because I'm like, I'm the one who could have went to the solo layout.
Yeah. And I've seen that damn mute button a million times, but right when I needed it, it was like, okay,
He's like, where is it? Yeah.
we about to get some fish, everybody.
But yeah, so that's like, just to put a button on it though. Like, I'm interested to see what he comes with next, and like I said, if he kind of stays in that pocket, with some of the new stuff that he did. And then I don't know if you guys have been following the Olympics. I feel like America has been kind of kicking some butt over there. We had the men's track team. It was like a cool little fun beef with the men's track team and the Jamaican track team, right? And they was beefing, and the men's American track team won. And it was like a lot of trash talking. And like I said, I think it's fun for the competition because I think that was the first Black American to win since I want to say 2004 maybe. Like, we've been getting our ass kicked in the 100 since Usain Bolt started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he raised the bar.
Yeah. So I think, that's what happened. It was like, it's been a long time since we was able to make some moves on that end. I think Lil Red is ready to join. You ready to join, Lil Red? There we go. We got Lil Red. Lil Red, did you get a chance to hear the new Drake joints?
Yeah, I did.
All right, give me your thoughts, youngster.
He went back to the melodies, thank God. The only thing I say that was good was I think it's called Up or something. I forgot what the song is called, but 21 Savage basically saved him. Like, saved the whole song because it was trash. Like, I still don't. Yeah, he just Yeah, no, it's just back to the Drake. So all the Drake fans, of course, gonna love whatever Drake do. So it's Drake. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, did I like it?
Yeah.
It was cool, but I personally, to me, it's not for me. I don't like it. So
Well,
yeah.
like I said, like I was telling V Ray before you came on, it's to me, I don't think they're bad Drake records, but I think if you're coming after what happened this summer, you
Mhm.
have to come with some smasheroonies, or you
Mhm.
have to come with something so totally different that people wouldn't even compare it to what just happened this summer. Right? You had to come with something so crazy, like maybe like a straight up R&B Jodeci type song or something, so people wouldn't even think about Drake in terms of rap. Like you would have needed to do something so far away from rap that people wouldn't even think about you in regards to the Drake and Kendrick beef from this summer. That's what I feel like.
Or make
You know,
another dance song
yeah,
or something.
yeah, like
Like
like,
that would have
and I
been
think he
cool.
did. I think he did like a world music song, like one of the because it's a bunch of tunes, but I think he did one like that. But like I said, I think I didn't hear. I don't feel like I heard something that was a smash, like something that would change the conversation. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Something that'll make you say, "Oh, Drake is back and he killing it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what you would have to come back with. You can't just slide back in with a regular record like you ain't just get stomped out.
Yeah.
You
Like
know what
he
I'm
didn't get
saying?
beat
Like
up real quick.
musically, like you don't. Yeah, yeah, you don't get a chance to do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so I don't know that. And again, I'm glad the records weren't horrible. They weren't horrible to me, but I think
Mm,
after coming from that, you can't do regular,
Yeah,
right? You
it
can't do.
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like to where it's like, okay, this is another just some bullshit that he just put out. Like it wasn't bad. Like I said, like for the Drake
No.
fans, like people that like Drake, you know what I'm saying? It's some music. So that's what the
So do
fans
you
want.
think do you think the Drake fans gonna like what he put out? Do you think the Drake fans are on it? I didn't get to like go checking out the atmosphere about it.
Uh, my homeboy is a big Drake fan, so I wouldn't say a big Drake fan, but he really fucked with Drake heavily. But he said he didn't like it. So
Hmm.
I I'm kind of like, damn, like you like Drake, you know what I'm saying? That's your dog, but yeah,
Yeah.
nah, it ain't saving
It
your
ain't it
whatever
ain't
you
hitting.
trying to.
It ain't hitting.
Nah,
It ain't
it
hitting
ain't
for what it
hitting.
need to be hitting for.
Like I said, 21 Savage saved the whole song, bro, because he was just rambling. I'm just like, all right, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Then 21 Savage
Yeah.
came in with that shit. I'm just like, okay, cool, finally something.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it shouldn't be that. Like I said, with your first
Mm-mm.
joint, it shouldn't be that.
It
So
should
yeah,
it
like
should never be like that.
we was talking about to start talking about Simone Biles and the Olympic gymnastics team. I don't know if y'all know they had one of her ex teammates had made a post. I guess when they were in training, her name is Michaela. I forgot her last name, but Michaela is her name, and she had
Hmm.
made a video saying, "I don't think this team is what she said. I don't think this team has the work ethic that they need to
Yeah,
have to win a gold medal, and I don't think you know that they got the talent." She said they don't have the talent or the work ethic.
right.
Besides,
Except
yeah, besides
Mike.
Simone, yeah, except Simone.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
guess she thought she was gonna ditch the smoke because she said that. But like Simone, like them my teammates, so they go
Yeah.
out, they kick ass, they win gold. So then Simone made a post, and it said this lazy team with no work ethics are now gold medal winners.
yeah.
And y'all know the internet is petty. So
Hmm.
as
Yep.
soon as that happened, they destroyed Michaela's mentions. So then today she came out pleading. I'm pleading with Simone Biles. Like, can you tell your fans to stop destroying my mentions and to stop insulting me and my family and da 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 da. I
But you
want to
dig
get.
yourself a own hole though.
I was gonna say I want to get y'all thoughts on that. Like, cause do y'all feel like Simone owes that to her to be like, all right, y'all chill, or do y'all feel like no, you kind of asked for this with the things you said unsolicited,
Right.
and you know with the internet, that's what it is. Like you wanted to go viral and you went viral, just not in the way that you wanted to. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm like, you know how the damn internet works. You ain't brand new to this shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna lay them traps, then they get sprung on you instead. Then you just gotta kind of deal with it and shit. And you know the internet has zero chill. So when they
Zero
start,
chill.
and yeah, you know, and
Zero.
people can hide behind their keyboards and say outlandish shit, and that's what happened. So moral of the story: shut the fuck up.
T Marie is on Instagram. She said her last name is Skinner, Michaela Skinner, and she says Simone don't owe her shit.
Yeah, I think
she basically she feel like Simone don't owe her and to help her. And she blocked Simone when the whole thing first happened. The whole thing first went down. She blocked Simone. So I feel like even that little move right there, you was kind of asking for it, like. Because if you wanted to smoke, you should have been able. If you wanted to get a smoke that they wasn't gonna win, they didn't have to work ethic. You should have been ready to take the smoke after they won and had to work ethic. You can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, we all know what those tears look like.
I mean, you basically got an example with the Drake and Kendrick beef. So
Of like,
why would
yeah, like if you want the
so why
smoke,
would
what it's
you
gonna be,
what it's gonna be like? So don't be like that.
Again, like I said, if you're going to enter the conversation and talk about, you have to stay in the conversation now. You engaged, you started it. As the youngsters say, you got to stand on business now. You can't be like, oh no, tell people to leave me. Like, nah, you said they was lazy. They had to work at the. Yeah. Like she's like, you can't throw rocks and hide your hands. Like, and act like you the victim now. Like, you talk bad on them girls, and them girls came and kicked butt.
Kick ass.
You know what I mean?
Showed you something different. Now what?
And she was even talking about like, oh, you know, because of the sport change, because you know, after all the abuse that came out and all the abuse allegations, they like, yo, coaches can't be like having girls work 5 days a week with no food. You know how they was like, it was like abusive shit. Like, you know, they making the sport so soft now, and like it's almost like she wanted it to stay the old way because probably that's how she came up, and that's what she used to. And I feel like Simone said, I could show you we can win without being treated like dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can win while still being treated like humans. So, and I think that's a whole, you know, other part of the conversation. T Marie said, even if Simone says something, it's too late. Yeah, y'all know how petty these comments are. Y'all know how petty these folks get once they get a hold of something and they jump in on it. There's nothing you can do about it, man.
That's it.
In the NBA, the men's basketball team, they've been kicking butt, they've been hooping, but it's crazy because LeBron is damn near seems like he's the MVP of the Olympics. Now you got Tatum, you got KD. KD been kicking butt too, though. KD,
nigga.
KD, I guess KD said, I'm about to pop out and show niggas. Like,
Kevin Durant is a different nigga on USA, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Kevin Durant is like, it's video game Kevin Durant on USA basketball.
Man.
Yeah, like I was just like, that's the KD we've been missing. That shot that you know, because the last 2 seasons he's been missing shots that he ain't never missed. I'm like, damn, he don't never miss that mid range. He never missed that midi. He never missed that. And he was missing a lot of these last season, but in the Olympics, he ain't.
That's a different KD.
Yeah, he ain't been missing. Like, he ain't been missing none of them, bro. So, do y'all think you think the USA gonna take gold?
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah,
I would say so. The way things going, yes, we looking good.
WNBA, I mean the ladies think will. Yeah. The women are undefeated since '92. Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
The Dream Team was '92. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we're gonna bring home gold there. I got to go see what's happening with table tennis and ping pong. I see the American ping pong team. This is funny. The American ping pong team beat, was it Japan or China? But all the girls on the ping pong team are Asian on the American ping pong. A win is a win, guys.
A win is a win.
Yeah. A win is a win.
A win is a win. Yeah.
A win is a win, guys. I gotta find a meme and show it to y'all. They was like, we just beat them in in ping pong, and they're like, and it's all Asian girls with American jackets on.
Yeah, holding their medals like
holding their medals. You saw it.
Team did,
yeah. A win is a win, guys. We gotta take it. We gotta take it. A win is a win. But these Olympics, I think this is the first time Olympics been kind of exciting like this in a very long time. Like, because the last few Olympics seemed like they was a little boring, right?
They was. No, they was.
It wasn't no story, wasn't really no intrigue going into it.
This year
didn't feel like, this year feels different. And then you got Snoop fulfilling side quests.
Hey, that man ain't doing it.
Nigga Ryan, on the bus with the team, riding horses with the
Holding
equestrian
torches
team.
and shit,
And
running
Flavor
down the
Flav.
motherfucking
And
nigga.
Flavor Flav sponsoring the swim team
Yeah,
and shit.
Flavor Flav sponsoring the women's polo
the
team. I'm like, this
women's
is
polo,
shit.
yeah.
If you would have told me 20 years ago that, hey y'all, in 20 years, Flavor Flav from Public Enemy is gonna be sponsoring the women's U.S. polo team in the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got my man Suge SB Global is in the building. What up,
What's
Suge?
the
Thanks for
deal? What's the
joining us,
deal?
man. Hey,
Man, thanks for inviting me, fam.
no, hey
Appreciate
man, I'm
it.
glad you was able to make it on, man. So right now we just talking about the Olympics and how well America has been doing actually in these Olympics, and Snoop fulfilling side quests and eating escargot with Martha Stewart. Like that's one of the most likely
Right.
friendships. Martha Stewart, Snoop, and then like I said, Flavor Flav sponsoring the women's polo team. And then I think there was a weightlifter. There was an American weightlifter who was like, she was like, I can't even pay my rent. I'm here at the Olympics and I can't even pay my rent. And Flavor Flav like, let me know
Wow.
how much it is. Send it to me and I'll take care of you. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's
Wow.
big. And again,
He's on some. They got some new PR companies behind it and shit. Him and Snoop probably got the same PR
because
motherfuckers.
it's
Right.
insane.
All this wholesome
Right.
shit. Like,
Hey, but I
'Cause
can
like I
see
said-
how that can be a reality, though. You know what I mean? To be in the Olympic Games, but can't afford your rent, can't afford your essentials. I mean, that's just where we are in
Well,
the
'cause they
world
said-
right now.
Well, they said other teams are getting from like outside of America, they getting between 100 and 200,000 for medals. And we American, they only get 30,000, 37,000
Wow.
when they medal.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp said whoever get medals, we gonna add 50 G's to what y'all get. Like we gonna yeah. Basically,
Hey,
get the
I was shocked to find out that the average WNBA salary is only like 70 racks.
Yeah, that's why they have to go
Yeah.
overseas, and that's why they have to play in other leagues in the off season. Yeah, it's like 70,000 for the WNBA. I think the highest. What is the highest? I don't know what it is, but 37,000. That's trifling for America to be paying their athletes 37,000.
37,000. That's it.
But and you would think, I think Nike and all those other kind of big sponsors like that. Remember back in the day, they would sponsor like the players directly. I think now it's more corporate sponsorships where they like partner with the actual Olympics. So I
Right.
don't think the athletes are getting that benefit the way that they would have been getting. Because like somebody like Simone Biles, she's probably taking home 2.5 million a week with
just
her
by what she
sponsorships
did.
being in the Olympics and her. But I'm talking about like your average somebody who's not famous but who's just a gold medal winner. They're not gonna get that marketability that a Simone Biles gets. You know what I mean?
Right. I think she got her individual sponsorship going on.
Yeah, Sha'Carri probably got like that's what I'm saying. So it's a few
she's the exception, definitely.
Right.
Team Marie said they have to pay for the medal. That's crazy.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, like gold records. You gotta pay for your own gold records.
I was
People don't
about
know
to say,
that.
their mothers, yeah.
And your
Your
star
own
on the
star.
Hollywood,
Yeah,
your star,
exactly.
Hollywood Walk of Fame, you got to pay for your own star or get somebody to pay for it for you. Yeah, you got to get sponsored for that. So, America, their capitalism is a motherfucker. They hustle everything for everybody. Like,
Man.
you got all
Hey,
these companies.
they look at it
Give
as
me my
promo.
money.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's promo.
yeah.
Even though
So-
you earned that medal, the fact that
Yeah.
you have them is promo.
But even
Damn.
if you got to pay for, like, I think America, who sends them, should pay for all the medals. I don't think
I
they
do
should
too.
come. I don't think they should tax them like, all right, nigga, we taking this out y'all little check. Like, we take this your medal money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I feel like I feel they pain as a musician who does streaming. I understand what they going through, man. I understand because we make people don't know. Like when you stream our music, we make 0.00007 cents per stream.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So that's why I tell people when you could buy the album, buy the album. Like on YouTube Music, you can still buy the album. On iTunes, you actually still buy the album. So if you buy the album, the artist actually gets that. But when you stream, we basically sharing that stream with everybody in the world. Because
right.
just to explain it, like say Universal Music Group, which is like the biggest conglomerate of all the labels, like all the big head labels, they made a deal with Spotify and all that without confirmed with us. So they made a deal like, oh, y'all can get everybody music for $10. So if y'all think about it, you can get everybody in the world music for $10 a month. How the hell we gonna get paid if y'all getting everybody music for $10 a month?
Yeah, damn.
It sounds like some illegal shit. You know what I mean? Because whenever the Isley brothers made their album, they didn't agree to that in they deal.
And that's the thing, right? Because you hit the nail on the head, SB. We never agreed to any of the terms that they used to make their deals, and they got super rich off of making those deals with Spotify, Tidal, and Apple Music, because Apple Music already had iTunes, so they had a deal set for iTunes. Then they did a different deal for Apple Music streaming,
right?
Because our deal with iTunes it wasn't too bad. It's like, say if they sell our song for 99 cents, we'll probably get 30 to 50 cents a song, which is not terrible. You know what I mean? But now you switch it to, we already on the iTunes platform, and they switch it to Apple Music. We getting 0.00067 cents or 81 cents. Like, there's three different ones. It's 80.00081 cents, 0.0067, and I think Tidal paid the most with 0.009 or something like that. Like, Tidal pays the highest.
Yeah, so you got to get over 1,000 streams to make $1.
Wow. What does YouTube pay for streams?
YouTube actually pays well.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube actually pays decent. Like, YouTube streaming is better because they use the same model they use for their videos for their streaming. So that's better. T. Marie said, she said basically the Olympic athletes got a TLC contract. Yeah, basically we all got a damn TLC contract.
Hey, I didn't see the politics in my text. Did you sneak that in on me?
Well, no, I just changed. It's the same thing. The thing I was going to talk about that we was going to talk about last. It's that. I just changed the name of it.
I've been avoiding this conversation with you, but we're gonna have it, I guess.
yeah, let's do it. But before we get to that conversation, I got a question for, we got some fathers on the podcast. My brother here, he's about to be a father. So there is a meme going around where a young lady said, if you find out that your kids ain't yours years later, you should not tell them that them ain't your kids. You need to just shut up and just keep being a dad, because that ain't them kids' fault that you ain't their daddy. So, do y'all agree or disagree with that notion?
Who's going first?
You go ahead, Chip.
Hell to the no. I disagree totally.
Okay, tell me why you disagree.
So it's all about the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth is it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in God, or if you believe in anything righteous, then it's all about the truth. And you don't have to like it. It don't have to feel good. It don't have to, it can end in people with hurt feelings or whatever. But at the end of the day, people need to know the truth. So if I'm not this kid's father or these children's father, and we both been living under a false pretense, the sooner we know, the better. Because now this kid can find out where he actually comes from. He may can seek out his actual father or his actual brothers and sisters or grandmother, and get to know why he is and how he is and who he is and where that shit come from. Because the show didn't come from me.
Okay.
And as far as the broad, hey man, I mean, listen, sometimes people get over, bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And I can't say that I haven't in my life, but
right,
that's a tough one. You know what I'm saying?
That is tough. Oh, King Duke, let me say, King Duke got a comment. He said, truth is life. Doesn't mean you have to stop being a father, but they gotta know.
It don't mean that, but we gotta know.
Yeah, and
it has to be told.
Girl, fuck them kids. And Miko said, what up, Miko? Class 95 in the house. Miko said, that's why I believe DNA test should be mandatory at birth, regardless of parental relationship. I agree with that. I agree, because too many people be playing too many games. So let me play devil's advocate a little bit on your position, SB.
Okay.
I've known a couple of people personally that have dealt with like finding out their parents weren't their parents way later on in life when they basically like 15, 16 years old and they've been thinking this is their father the whole time. And what I found, and this is just anecdotal, so I'm saying this is every case. But what I found a lot, though, the few times and a few cases of people that I know personally, it really fucked them up. And it seemed like it set their life on a whole other course than it was on. Because I guess you now like don't even trust, if you can't trust your parents, you probably ain't gonna trust nobody ever. You know what I mean? And like the people that I've seen this happen to, and I'm not disagreeing that you should know the truth. I'm just saying, like, from what I've seen when people did say, I think he needs to know the truth. Because then it's like, do I tell him when he's 2? Do I tell him when he's 5? You know what I'm saying? Do I tell him when he's 15? Like, it's like, when do you have that conversation? So the people that I know, it really messed them up and put them on a whole other like trajectory in life. So it sucks. Like you said, it's a trash situation to be in. And also, I don't like the way she worded this because I kind of feel like the way she worded is like the woman is taking no accountability for her part in putting the man in this position.
Do women waste time in telling children that the father ain't contributing? Do they waste time in saying your father is over there with his other family and he loves them more than he loves you and me? They don't waste one opportunity to put that in a child's mind and continue to put that in a child's mind.
You right about that?
When she on the bad, where it's her bad, we don't need to waste no time. Look, son, you not mine. Okay, I just found out your mama was fucking with somebody else. Okay, period. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? You still my guy, but the truth is, you biologically you don't belong to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We need to deal with the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. What you think, V-Ray? What's your take?
Well, I think that the truth has to come out too. I think there's a constructive way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I think I would disconnect from the household. You know, it would be similar to like when parents get divorced. Fuck you, I'm out. You know, I'll get my own space. I'll still, have a relationship with the kids and stuff like that. And I just think I would handle it that way. Like the post actually said that it's not the kids' fault that the subterfuge happened. You know what I'm saying? They're just as much of a pawn in the shit as you're keeping you ignorant to the whole shit. Now, the accountability from the woman. I mean, all that support, that financial support, and all that stuff that's come down through the years. That I don't know how I handle that because I'm real picky about like being taken advantage of or made a fool of and that kind of shit like that. So they might find out because the fucking cops are there to arrest my ass for you know what I'm saying, for doing something in the heat of the moment. But the other thing that I was thinking about when you guys were discussing this is that there's also other reasons that kids need to know that kind of thing, because like from a medical standpoint, if there's some hereditary shit going
Absolutely.
or like a bone marrow a match kind of shit or some kind of shit like that comes up in the kid's future, and you really don't have that DNA connection to that child. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the way a lot of people find out too, V-Ray. Like a lot of people have found out for medical reasons, right? Like they need a blood transfusion. They like, oh, y'all don't match. You're like, what you mean? That's my dad. What you mean don't match? You know what I mean? Like, so that is something very important. Like you said, sometimes like if you have like a genetic disorder or something in your genetics, especially like black folks carry the sickle cell trait and stuff like that. These are things you need to know, because if you start getting sick and you can't trace it back to your actual parents, that's something that can actually affect your quality of life. You know what I mean? So there are other reasons to know other than being messy. You know what I'm saying?
And you put a kid in a position where, as an adult who's, like you said, or someone said, they believe their whole life that this person is their mother or their father. And so when the doctor is asking those questions that we've all heard, is there a history of whatever, hypertension in your family or, you know, whatever. And you're like, nope, my dad's a picture of health. Well, your dad, that dude's the picture of health, but your dad, that nigga might be a fucking
Right.
wreck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my 2 cents.
What you think, Lil Red?
I feel like the kids should know the truth right off the bat, and I feel like the woman should hold accountable, whatever, you know, however she, you know what I'm saying. So I think
Yeah.
that's just crazy that, you know, you can't. I don't think you should keep on telling those kids that, oh, that's your dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hell no, I'm not your dad. Like, tell them kids who their real dad is and let them know who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with you, I fuck with your kids, but I ain't they pappy, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know I try to read all comments, so this ain't me. This T Marie again. She said you gotta manage the vagina better.
Yeah. Hey,
In a
it's
real
like,
world, honestly, I think in the real world that would never come out because I mean, unless it came out inadvertently some other way. I don't think a woman would sit on that shit for that long and then finally.
oh
be like,
yeah, they will.
You know what? I'm gonna have to come for real and tell this dude after 23
maybe
years.
on a deathbed or something.
Yeah, it's some
Oh,
shit like
shit.
that. Yeah, but I mean, they know the circumstances they put themselves in if they do say some shit like that. So, you know,
Hey, but it's like Adam and Eve all over again. She committed to sin, and now she wants you to be complicit. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Well, you got to be aware to be complicit. So if they, you know,
Yeah, like once you find out, saying just go along with it and don't tell the kid. Now, hell no, then that makes me just as wrong as you. You did wrong, okay? Not me. I'm
you.
Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So look, I don't know if y'all saw. You know, getting into the next subject. I don't know if y'all saw, but Donald Trump was able to go on do a podcast with Aiden Ross, who's like a kind of one of the hip hop podcaster guys. And people were saying that, you know, well, if he did Aiden Ross, Kamala should do Kai Cenat's podcast.
I saw that.
What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think she should try to do that podcast, or do you think she should just run her campaign her way instead of trying to just match energy with what he's doing? What do y'all think?
I think she should just do her own playbook. I mean, so far so good. You know what I'm saying? And I think Donald Trump is just kind of grasping at straws, just trying to get a toehold any kind of way he can with the fucking AI fake pictures of him with black people and, you know what I'm saying, podcasts and calling people silly names and shit like that. It's like, motherfucker, it's like Kamala's running against a 6-year-old and shit, right? So I think that the strategy in that is a bad look. You know, one, I think that demographic, the hip hop, you know, mindset is automatically on people game on what the fuck, you know, he thinks he's doing, pandering to that crowd. And if he I don't think he's going to get the traction that he thinks he's going to get by doing that personally. And I think it would look like the same kind of pandering if this 50-something-year-old lady comes on with fucking, I don't know, Kim Kardashian and shit. Like, girl, like, remember when Hillary Clinton was with Mary J. Blige? Like, what do you keep in your purse?
She's like hot sauce. Everybody like,
get the fuck out of here.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Well,
so
and you know what? I kind of agree with you there, V-Ray. And I also think you can do the same thing with different styles, right? Because I feel like the crowd that he was trying to reach, which is the big 18 to 34 that's out there, right? That's a huge demographic. I think that's kind of what she did when she had Meg Thee Stallion at her rally, right? When she had Quavo speak. I think she kind of did the same thing, but without having to do that. Because I feel like it would be weird to me to see her and Kai Cenat when I feel like there's no real connection there, right? When you feel like she's literally just there to try to like do what Trump did. But I felt like, because you know, a lot of people was mad at the Meg Thee Stallion at a rally shit, and I was like, well, for me, I said we older, bro, but those 18 to 34, they fuck with Meg, they fuck with Migos, and I said, and the 18 to 34, Meg herself has 70 million social media followers. So that's not to say that every 70 million is gonna rock with her, but if you can get like 10%,
absolutely.
if you can get 10% of her social media following, that's some shit that could literally turn the tide of an election. So when people were mad, I'm like, I don't think y'all looking at this from a purely political standpoint, right? Because I know one of the biggest things that the 18 to 24 have been saying is they feel like nobody's been listening to them. They feel like nobody's been trying to include them, and they feel like their voice hasn't been heard. But I feel like so far watching the Harris campaign, I feel like they actually been trying to tap in with that. And I'm not talking about just with the Meg thing. I'm talking about even with the vice president pick, because everybody thought Josh Shapiro was a slam dunk. You know, they were like Josh Shapiro, and I thought she should pick Josh Shapiro. But the problem is Josh Shapiro has some problematic views of the college protesters because they were for a free Palestine. The youngsters, they not supporters of, it's not that they against Israel, because you know they like to say like if you for free Palestine you're anti-Semite, and that's not the case. You can want a two-state solution and want Gaza and Palestine to be free without hating Jewish people. So
Right.
I think his stance on it as like an old school Zionist, they was like, if we do this, all those people who just got excited for us getting Biden off the ticket because Biden was like pro-Israel all the way, wasn't really talking about a ceasefire, we are going to deflate all those young voters who just was trying to come on board with us because they was calling him Genocide Joe, like the 1834 demographic, calling him Genocide Joe because he wasn't doing enough in regards to the ceasefire in Israel and Palestine. So they were losing a lot of traction with the youth vote that they started getting back poll-wise. They started polling way better with the youth after Harris took over. So I think that's why they were like, we can't go with Josh, even though he'll be a slam dunk for Pennsylvania. It might hurt us with that 18 to 34 demographic. And I'm gonna tell y'all a crazy stat that I just learned. And this is one of the reasons why you see Trump trying so hard to try to get the black vote and trying to get the youth vote. And the crazy thing is, they said Trump's campaign specifically has been going after the black male vote. They have been like trying to get the black male vote specifically, but Trump, when he ran in 2016, his biggest base was what? The baby boomers, right?
Mm-hmm.
His biggest base was the baby boomers. Do y'all know what happened between 2016 and now with the baby boomers?
They
What?
did.
20 million died. 20 million.
20 million people.
20 million baby boomers from 2016 to now. I think it's actually 22 million, but I know it's 20 million at least. 20 million have died, and that was like a large part of his base. And that's why a lot of the stuff that he was able to run his original playbook back then isn't working the same, because I think the younger generation, they look at things in a different, they look at things, even from us, they look at like the way they feel about LGBTQ, transgender, like a lot of the younger kids, straight, gay, they were more inclusive, even more than our generation. So I don't know if, because what the Democrats were doing wasn't even working for them. So I'm sure a lot of what the Republicans are doing aren't working for them, because they are way more liberal. Like, if most of y'all got kids, y'all look at y'all kids, like you have straight kids. Like back in the day, straight kids wouldn't just hang out with a bunch of gay kids. They do now. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time. Like it's very different. It's a very different world, and it's a lot more inclusive. And I think because it's a lot more inclusive and he lost all those baby boomers, he's having a tough time trying to find his footing. Like how you said he was trying to figure out how to laughing Kamala, LAFFIN,
Stupid shit.
laughing. Then the next week he was like lying Kamala. And I was like the Sleepy
I didn't
Joe
know
shit,
she was black.
the Sleepy Joe shit was working. Like he had his stick with the nicknames and everything, but he can't really figure out that thing to attack with Kamala. Because I seen like, on Fox News, because like I said, I watch all news. So on Fox News, they were like saying like she's a mixture of Barack Obama and Bernie Sanders. I'm like, y'all think that shit's gonna turn her based off saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the attack you want to go with, saying, oh,
Right.
she's more like Bernie Sanders than anybody else. I'm like, y'all know how motherfuckers was going crazy for Bernie Sanders when he didn't win the nomination when he was going against Biden. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they haven't figured out quite the attack, and then I watched them trying to attack the vice president that she chose, Tim Moore. So they're same thing. They calling him a radical left, like he's the radical left. But I'm like, I don't know if radical left is hitting the way they think it's gonna hit.
Yeah, he was a strong pick too for the women's rights, women's health autonomy conversation, especially with his own daughter. One of his daughters, anyway, was through in vitro, was conceived through in vitro and shit like that. So that whole women's right to choose, women's right to govern their own body and all that shit like that. That's a whole bunch of a following that comes along with that. I mean, they may not be connecting with him specifically, but the support of that platform is huge, man. Especially, I think this year more than others because of Roe v. Wade being overturned and shit like that. I think that's going to have a lot of impact, not only with the presidential run, but all these congressional and Senate seats and shit like that. A lot of that hinges on the rights for abortion to be relegated to the states themselves and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be important that they have the right candidate in place in those states, and obviously in the representation in the House and Senate and shit like that. So I think he was a strategic pick for that reason as well.
I was just about to say, Ray, I think he was a strategic pick. The more I got into who he is and what his background is, I see why it feels like. Well, there's two things. He checks more boxes than Shapiro, right? Because he's a veteran. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Football coach. Was once supported by the NRA. He's a Second Amendment, so he's down with the Second Amendment. They say he's the best shooter in Congress, and like they said when they used to have a shooting, he was the best. Like, so he is a gun dude. So he checks a lot of boxes that can get Midwest white men, like to help get that Midwestern white vote. He checks a lot of those boxes, and he looks like a Republican. That's what people are like. You know what I'm saying? He looks like one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he got that dad vibe. And another reason I think they didn't pick Shapiro, because to me, Shapiro is not vice president energy, bro. Shapiro is a president.
Yeah.
Shapiro is a top of the ticket dude. When I watched him, I said, oh, nah, he wouldn't have worked with Kamala because he got like his own kind of swag. He got his own like vibrato, and he's like very sure of himself. And he's a star in the way that Gavin Newsom is, right? Like, say what you want to say about Gavin Newsom's politics. America loves stars. We never had a president that wasn't a star. And every time you see somebody who's not a star running for president, they lose. I was telling people, I said, yo, Hillary was not a star, bro. I don't care how much more she seemed to be better than Trump on paper. I'm like, Trump is a star. You can say what you want, you hate him, whatever. Trump is a star. Barack Obama, star.
Yeah.
You go look all the way back to Ronald Reagan. Like, America loves stars. So that's why I say, like, a ticket in 8 years with Gavin Newsom and Shapiro would probably be some scary shit. Because you know what I'm saying, because them two, they're two superstars. Like they're superstars. And I honestly didn't think Kamala was a star, and that's probably why they was hiding her until she came out to run for herself. And I was like, oh shit, like this is a charisma and a way of confidence and speaking that I've never seen from her. Yeah. And even when she ran in 2019, I don't know if it's because of her experience now, she seems to be a much better candidate than she was in 2019. Like, she's
reminiscent of Michelle Obama-esque to me in some instances, from the educational standpoint, like you're saying, as an orator and shit like that. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Would have been another viable pick for vice president, and I was really surprised that they didn't go harder in that direction. Is Pete What is it, Buttigieg? Buttigieg? Why?
You are not about to have a nigga in the on the
Well,
ticket
I'm
and
just
win
saying,
anything.
but you know what sets him apart in a lot of instances from when he's speaking and doing interviews and shit like that, the motherfucker stays on policy.
No,
You know?
listen. I love Pete Buttigieg when it comes to speaking policy. He be going
Yeah.
on Fox News tearing their ass up.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know as well as I know, you got to balance that ticket out. And I think that's another mistake to me that Trump made, because the first time he balanced his ticket out with Mike Pence. So people were like, oh, this nigga crazy, but he got Mike Pence behind him, and that feels stable. That was the whole point of putting Mike Pence on the ticket. He felt like a stable ticket. Now he doubled up on MAGA. It's him and JD Vance who's trying to be mini Trump. So I feel like the ticket isn't as balanced as it was. Because, like, you know what would have been scary if Trump would have chose Nikki Haley as his vice president?
Yeah, I thought he was going to do that too. Honestly,
It would have been a landslide. It would have been a landslide. I think it was like they was gonna lose if Joe Biden stayed. They was losing, period. But I feel like if he would have made Nikki Haley his VP, they would have kicked ass. And if Nikki Haley would have been the VP right now with Kamala in the race, I think it would have been still. I would have gave the edge to the Republicans, because Nikki Haley had a very strong following. She had very strong polling numbers, and she probably would have delivered those Republicans who aren't MAGA and who are more old school Republicans. And I think, because I don't know if y'all saw, there was just like a bunch of Republicans launched Republicans for Kamala and did like a press conference and shit.
Yeah,
and it's like a lot of the old school Republicans who like, I want to vote for Kamala now so we can get back to actual Republican conservative, our Republican conservative ways, and then we can run somebody in 4 years. That's like their goal. So I was like, okay, to me that was interesting, because I'm like, that's a wrinkle that I didn't see. You know what I mean? Like, just like the 160 white women during this room call for Kamala, I didn't see that coming. Like, there's things that she's doing that are very surprising to me, and that's, like I said, I think that's another reason that Trump and his campaign has been having a tough time finding their footing, because they thought she was going to be an easy win, and it comes out like, I think they said her first week she raised 290 million, right? And this is not even from the big donors, and this is not including Joe Biden's war chest of 96 million. And then they said this week, since she announced her VP, they raised another like 80 million or something like that. You know what I mean? So she's energizing the base. And like when Biden was running, I think he was only getting 23% of the black vote. When Biden was running, his number had dropped down to 23%. And since Kamala, it went back up to 53% black vote going to Kamala. Like 50% of was the black male vote that they had lost. You know what I mean? So it's like she's changing the tide, she's changing some stuff, and I think Trump has to figure out fast what his plan of attack is going to be, because right now the attacks that they're trying to use ain't working. Because all the pundit, like when the people say like Trump surrogates say, oh, she picked somebody who's a radical leftist, and they like, oh, the surrogates for the Democrats come back and say what? He wanted free lunch, he wanted paid leave for families, he wanted, you know what I'm saying? Like and the reason a lot of black folks started messing with the whole Tim Walz, Tim Walz, is because he's the one who took the George Floyd case out of the DA's hands and put it in the hands of Keith Ellis. And they said if he wouldn't have did that, Derek Chauvin wouldn't have been convicted, because I guess the prosecutors in Minnesota was fucking up the case so bad.
Yeah.
So he did that, and he supported, he seems to have supported George Floyd and their family through that whole ordeal. So he's very well liked by not only the white community, but the African American community out there. So I think that's something that could help bring the swing states, because that's, the whole ball game is going to be whoever wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That's the whole ball game, which is why I thought they would pick Shapiro, because that's 19 electoral votes in Pennsylvania. And if she would have been for sure like, oh, we got Shapiro, we definitely getting Pennsylvania, I think that's ball game. But I do think, V. Ray, to your point, what you said, Walls checks a lot of boxes for those other states to bring in those more rural voters because he's from, I think, Nebraska. You know what I mean? He's from Nebraska, so he presents the salt of the earth. Because I know sometimes he's doing like his press conferences and like a T-shirt and a baseball cap, and you know he's ex-military too. So it's like it's kind of hard to attack somebody who's ex-military, teacher, and all the things that patriots are known to be. Right? It's almost like he checks all the boxes that a patriot is supposed to be. So I think it's kind of hard to attack that, and I think they have to figure out their plan of attack on that. And on that note, I'm going to step to SB because I know that you have said that you like Trump's policies over the Democratic policies. So I just want to talk to you about that a little bit and tell me what are the policies, because I went after me and you had the conversation. I went and I read all of Trump's policies because, you know, I want to be fair and subjective when having the conversation. So I read all of his policies. So I want to know, what are the policies that the Republicans have that you support?
Okay, let me answer the initial question first, real quick. Should Kamala do what Trump is doing?
Yeah.
Or Kai Sanat?
Yeah.
Kamala's team reached out to Kai, and Kai denied it. He just posted a video maybe 2 hours ago.
Okay.
So she's trying to follow the leader, because that was a viral situation with Aiden. 500,000 people in the stream. He got 4.5 million followers on YouTube. He was a fan of Trump, as you can see with the Elon Musk mobile and the Rolex watch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He pro Trump. You know what I'm saying? Big fan. A 23-year-old zillennial with a massive following. Now, why are these people not reaching out to Kamala? Why does her team need to try and seek out zillennials with massive following? Either they fucking with you or they not. You know what I mean? I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. And for her to get denied, to me, it says a whole lot.
Well, no, I saw the video. So with context, Kai said, "I don't do politics. That's not for my platform." So it wasn't about denying Kamala. He literally said, I don't know shit about politics, so I wouldn't have her on my platform because I don't. That's not what I do.
Okay. So listen, neither does Megan Thee Stallion, right? But she had her big juicy ass on that stage.
You said neither does Meg Stallion what?
Do politics.
She does. Go back. Go back to when Joe Biden was running. She spoke on it back then. So it's not like it's the first time she jumped in. When Joe Biden was running, she spoke up. She endorsed him. She talked about it then. Just FYI.
Some people do anything for the bag, and some people don't. You know what I mean? And that speaks volumes to why she had that juicy booty up there, twerking and flexing and doing what she do with the knee being. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had baby girl. All right, good night. Yeah, you know, and listen, I love Megan Thee Stallion, right? I don't think it was a bad idea to have Megan Thee Stallion to help her with her campaign or even to perform a song, but it has to be done in the right context. You know what I'm saying? Have Megan Thee Stallion write you a song. Have Megan Thee Stallion rewrite the song that you like and make it a Kamala Harris song. Don't just throw her up there and have her do Meg Thee Stallion, and then Meg Thee Stallion caught all the backlash on that. You know what I'm saying? That was unfair to her.
I think she would have caught more backlash if she wrote a Kamala Harris song, though, because that's really going out of your lane.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, if that's what you with, if that's what you with, if that's what you with, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you think Tupac couldn't have wrote a song about whoever he was supporting? He think he didn't have a Mike Tyson song or whatever, whoever I'm with. That's what I'm riding with, and that's what I'm, brother. You know, listen, man. Listen, when you spoke, I was quiet.
No,
I didn't necessarily agree with everything you said, sir. but
But
I
it's
was
a
quiet.
discussion. I'm not trying to disrespect you.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm just saying I didn't necessarily agree with everything you said, but I'm just trying to get my points because we already changed the question. So I just wanted to address the actual question before I got to the next question.
Respect.
All right. So listen, I don't have a problem with Megan Thee Stallion being a part of the campaign. I actually think Glorilla would have been a better choice. You know what I mean? I think she could have. I think she speaks more to that demographic that you speak on, 18 to 34. You know what I mean? Megan Thee Stallion is a little older, right? She's closer to 30.
Yeah, but I think Meg was better for this thing than Glorilla. Honestly, I think she was better for this. Again, she has a bigger following. She's more widely known than Glorilla because Glorilla is known in the urban fashion, with black folks. But Meg is crossover. Meg is crossover appeal. Meg has been on stage with Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Meg is known like in a much wider fashion. Like Meg does like commercials for the Super Bowl and stuff. So I think that's a kind of a different level, a different echelon.
I can dig that, but I don't think that she should have did it the way she did it. I think it should have been put in the right context. She shouldn't try to do what Trump does. She needs to be organic. And I think that's what me and a lot of other people that I talk to, we don't feel like there's authenticity. And with Trump, it's oozing with authenticity. You know what I mean? You feel like this is a person coming off the rip.
Well, I would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree with you. And I say this as someone who's followed both. I would have agreed with you in 2019. And I felt like that's why she didn't connect in 2019. Because I felt like she was very measured every time she spoke. I felt like she was very inauthentic. I felt like they tried to give her the Barack Obama playbook and it wasn't working for her. They was trying to make her like Barack Light when she was running, right? Like they was trying to make her take all of Barack's playbook and try to run it. And I think it wasn't working. And I think this time she's connecting. And Charlamagne even said, Charlamagne was like, I'm glad we're finally getting the person who I see off camera. He was like, we finally getting the person that I talk to all the time. And I say, you know what? I feel that way as well. Like, I feel like it's connecting because I feel like she's not trying to be too sister girl. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she's not trying to be too, because sometimes she'll try to act a little extra hood when, and I feel like, no, you a nerdy black girl from Oakland. Lean into that. And I feel like she's kind of leaning into that this time. And I feel like that's why she's actually connecting the voters this time.
She's taken the podium 4, maybe 5 times since she announced her candidacy. And each time she said the exact same spiel verbatim about her being a prosecutor.
Hey, it's a stunt speech, my guy. Do you know what a stunt speech is?
A stunt speech.
Stump. It's called a stump speech.
Stump speech.
Go back and watch. Go back and watch Obama's first 5 or 6 appearances. What she's doing is nothing new. You go to every state and you say the exact same speech. They just.
But what I'm saying is, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Stick your point. But at the same time, I feel like we're at a level in politics where we have to evolve. So it's like, okay, you can make the same point, but you don't have to say it verbatim exactly the same way, like you saying something new.
Again, like I said, it's called a stump speech. And let me tell you why I think what she's doing makes sense and it's working. She's rising in the polls. She's going to if you're going to talk to these people directly, the people in Philly didn't hear what the people in Wisconsin heard. The people in Wisconsin probably didn't hear what the people, you know what I'm saying? You have to get your message home. That's the whole thing. We always talk about how Democrats are terrible at messaging. And right now, I feel like they're finally doing a good job of sticking home, sticking home a point. Brain Clinton says she's targeting weak-minded women. I'd like you to elaborate on that, Brain. Why do you think
somebody gets it? No, she's targeting single women. You know what I mean? I think that was part of the whole Megan appeal too. She's definitely not targeting men, like you said. That's Trump's base, and it's like Generation X. There's a whole bunch of us who are the new baby boomers as far as that demographic is concerned. We have some that aren't, but there's a lot of us who are because we were raised from the baby boomers, and we have a lot of those values and old, fashioned traditional views on things. So a lot of us, a lot of the men are the ones that are still carrying on that baby boomer legacy. So that's why.
Hold on real quick, SB. I want to get brain. So he said she's targeting weak-minded women. They got the major vote. So you said a majority of women are weak-minded? Is that what you're saying, bro? Please elaborate.
Okay, so look, let me just get through this real quick. So as far as the VP pick, I think she did great on that. If there's one thing I can say that I think where she knocked it out the park was that. The only thing I don't like about him, and even with the, with him being, trans friendly and all that, I don't really care about. I mean, I don't agree with that, but that's not my major issue with him. I don't like the key word phrasing that the Democratic Party is trying to coin the phrase weird when it comes to JD Vance and Donald Trump. I think that's so hypocritical from the party who is so anti-bully, pro the PC police. You know what I mean? That and we can't say words now like retarded and stuff, words that actually exist. And now you want to call somebody weird. I think that's pretty inappropriate. You know what I mean?
Oh, hold on, bro. You can't say weird is inappropriate while you backing Trump. That's insane.
Exactly.
Why?
That's insanity.
Why I can't? Why I can't?
Because all the shit that Trump calls everybody, and you have a problem with them calling people weird.
What? Sleepy Joe? What is he? Tell me what he says that's worse than weird. What he says
Worse
worse
than
weird?
weird? Worse than weird? Are you aware of the things that he says on the road?
I'm just asking you a question, sir.
No, I'm asking you.
Answer the question.
If you know that,
what did he say that was worse than weird?
If you know
what did he say? So you don't have the answer. That's cool. So
no,
listen.
I'm saying that if you're a supporter of Trump,
bro,
you already know
I'm asking you a question. What did he say that was worse than weird? What did he say that was worse than weird? You can't answer it.
Oh, okay. He said rapist. He said
rapist.
Oh, so rapist is
worse
okay.
Than weird? That's not worse
he
than
said
weird.
Rapist.
Did
he said rapist.
Did he not say it?
He said rapist to who? About
I'm
what?
asking you, yes or no? Did he say that?
He said rapist about what are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about. He said rapist.
You know exactly what I'm talking
Grab
about.
him by the pussy was a private conversation. Did somebody
don't matter.
record? That's a private. It does matter.
Rapist was not a private.
What have you said in private? What have you said in private, sir?
Saying that he didn't say the private. The rapist comment wasn't private.
I don't know about the rapist. So
yes,
that's what I'm asking. You telling me now? You don't tell me what I know.
Over the news, bro.
He said rapist.
Never mind. I'll be quiet. But
listen, if you want to tell me what he said, I don't know what you're talking about. What did he say, rapist, Dave? I know that during a debate, Joe Biden said he raped her. When that's not true. He was not found guilty of rape.
This sounds like that same denial and
I'm telling you, that's not no denial, it's facts, bro.
The denial was the wrong word. This sounds like the deflection kind of thing that Trump does.
Was Donald Trump found guilty of rape, sir?
My point is
he was found liable for sexual abuse, but not guilty of rape.
That's the hill you want to die on?
I mean, listen. All right, so we still cool with Mike Tyson? We still cool with Tupac? We still cool with Cole? I'm just asking though.
Are they the president?
What difference do it make? What difference do it make? What difference do it make?
Because are we holding rappers?
What difference do it make?
It makes a huge difference.
It doesn't. So because it's an accusation. It's an accusation.
No.
It's an accusation that wasn't proven. That wasn't proven. Go ahead.
I'm
listening.
That's it. Oh, go ahead.
I didn't hear you because we were all talking.
All right, so you said all right, do you not think that saying your daughter is sexy is worse than being called weird?
I think that's very inappropriate.
So
I don't agree. I don't agree with nothing. Everything that no man says or does.
Well, you asked. So
everybody has fault.
So you said, what did he say that's worse than weird? I think saying I would have sex with my daughter is worse than.
He said I would have sex with her?
Yes, he did.
Okay, that's all bad.
So
That's strange. Why are you looking at
That's
your
all
kid,
bad.
nigga? You
That's
made
all
her. What do
bad.
you? What you
It's all
want?
bad. All bad. I'm gonna have to look that up. Look that up. He said I would have sex with her.
yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead
unaware
and
of
look it
that.
up. Yeah, the end of the Google's right in front of you. Go ahead, you can do it right now.
At the end of the day, the last question you asked was the policy I agree with.
Yeah, what's the policy you agree with?
I agree with day one, the biggest deportation that America has ever seen. I
Okay.
agree with that
Wait,
policy.
Okay, now let's talk about that. Why do you agree with that policy in particular? Let's talk about that.
Well, isn't it obvious? Illegals being here from God knows where, God knows who. These are people that were in prison, people who are criminals, and then they're don't forget rapists. Not only that, they're getting aid, assistance, housing. That's all stuff that people here aren't getting. That's all stuff here that people here can use. You know what I mean? So we don't need to be documenting other illegals. And why are we documenting people that got here illegally? And why are we allowing people to just come here? Like, you know what I'm saying? The shit is all corrupt.
Okay, so you want secure borders, right? Like
Absolutely.
Okay, so what if I told you, and you can look this up for yourself, what if I told you that Barack Obama and his administration and Joe Biden and Kamala's administration deported more people than Donald Trump?
It don't matter if you letting them in, though. Listen, if I deport 1 million motherfuckers, but I let 11 million in, what difference does it make?
Okay, so take what you just said and use it for when Trump was president, because you do remember he was actually president already, right?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, so what I'm saying is he already had that on his agenda and he didn't do it. And he spoke about it more than Barack and Kamala. But again, you can go look these numbers up for yourself. The numbers bear out. They deported more people than Donald Trump did.
Who let more people in?
It's the same amount basically through all administrations. So
same amount. This what's going on now is just business as usual.
Oh no, actually,
right?
No. Well, again, look up the numbers, my guy. Right now, under Biden administration, they let in less illegals than Trump did. These are facts. Go look right now. The border is
why are these facts so unknown? Why are these facts something you got to dig, and why it's so on the surface what's going on now?
Well, I can tell you why they got to dig, and I kind of talked to you about this when we spoke in person.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats are such a Big Tent party; they know it's probably not popular for them to run on immigration. That's not popular for them because a lot of their base, I'm sure, is probably Latino people, Black and Latino people, right? So if a lot of your main base in the party is that, why would you run on immigration? It just doesn't make political sense. But if you go look at what they've actually done, they've actually been better on the border than your guy.
Okay, so we gonna act like that Kamala, I finally said her name right too. Kamala has when asked about going,
go look it up.
When asked about,
I don't hold on real quick. I don't get on this show, Brain, unless I've actually went and looked at my numbers. I don't. So go look it up for yourself. It is true. It is true that less people have been coming in, and like it is true that less people has been coming in, and they've deported more than Trump. They literally called Barack Obama the deporter in chief. That was his nickname. They literally called him that. So,
but listen, we clearly have a problem now, and clearly, who's responsible for making sure our borders are secure was her, and now they're trying to say that she wasn't responsible. But that was the assignment she was given. We all heard it. They said it nonstop on the news, and Now all of a sudden, this has nothing to do with her, and there's clearly a problem. Everybody's aware of this problem. Everybody may not be aware of what you're talking about her, about less people coming in or more people going out, whatever it is. But right now, we have a very serious problem we have a border crisis.
Well,
they're responsible for it.
Let me interject a comment. What's your thoughts about the border deal that got shot down at the last minute when Trump said that he didn't want the Republicans to back the deal?
And just to give you context, Shug, so there was a border bill drawn up by a Republican that was a bipartisan bill. It was a bipartisan bill that one of the big things they were fighting about on the bill was almost all the bills the Democrats were drawing up has something built in with like other, like other concessions. Like they have something built in like the border deal plus aid to Ukraine, the border bill plus, So a Republican wrote a border bill that was no concessions, literally just a straight up border deal, and they were going to run it by like the Democrats and Republicans had agreed on it, and they said this would fix our borders, it'll fix all the problems that you're talking about, and they were about to vote on it, and Donald Trump called in and said, "Don't vote and don't pass this bill because I need to run on immigration." So they didn't pass the bill. So what are your thoughts on that in regards to if it's really a crisis and it's really about the American people and he stopped that?
And if it's really like a Democratic issue as well when the Republicans.
I mean, right now, before it got to the point to where it got now, Biden was able to sign an executive order. It didn't matter whatever the fuck Trump did on his way out. Didn't do.
So was Trump when he was president.
So right now, so these 3 years that they've been flooding the border, Biden could have put a stop to it, but he chose not to. So we can blame Trump if Trump said, "Hey, take that off the table. That's what I'm running on." If that's what he did for his sneaky politic tactics, shame on him for that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But right now, he's not in control. You know what I mean?
Well, he's in control of his party because the party that was about to vote on this border deal decided not to vote based on him saying not to vote on it. And again,
he had executive power during his presidency to do what you're saying Biden in 3 years hasn't done. He had the same. We didn't have
a crisis when he
was calling it a crisis at the time. Why was he building a wall if there was no crisis?
Yeah, not to the magnitude it is now, though.
So what?
It's the same crisis, bro.
But based on what numbers? Because you saying it's a crisis now and it wasn't then. What are you basing your
man? When you see police or border patrolmen escorting people across the border, you know what I mean? Like this is.
But that's anecdotal, SB. But I'm talking about what are you basing? Because like what you're talking about is like stuff you've seen on TV, right? But I'm talking about, like the facts of the matter. What makes it a border crisis now versus what was happening under Donald Trump?
What makes it a crisis now?
Yeah, what makes it a crisis now versus Donald Trump?
I mean, you can see the people pouring in. You can see the fact that somebody died. Some people died behind illegal aliens. Criminals committing murder. You got and not only that, they're giving I just heard they was giving people $20,000 a piece. Like, what kind of shit is that? Why we not getting them out of here? Biden is still the president. Why we not getting them out? Why we not deporting them now? We can say what we want about Trump. But right now, if Trump was in charge, we can blame whatever's going on now on him. Right now, Biden is still technically the president. He can do that same deportation thing right now if you wanted to.
So let me ask you this: so you think that Trump is going to be effective in doing what he said he's going to do?
Absolutely.
If he gets elected in office day one, he's going to deport people and shit like that. But he's already had the opportunity to do that. What do you think is behind the absence of that happening when he was president? He was president for 4 whole years. 365 days times 4. You know what I'm saying? He had ample opportunity to do that very thing that you're saying he's going to deliver if he gets elected president now. But
Well, I mean, he began the border wall building, right?
I'm
So it's
talking
not
about
like he was just
deportation and that whole business.
well, we didn't have the influx that we have now.
We
Yeah, it was
did have
always
the
illegals
influx. There
here.
was
No,
caravans
not it wasn't 11 million people coming at a time.
So even if it was half of that, there was the deportation is for people that are already here, right? That's
I
what
get
he's
that.
talking about getting rid
I
of.
get that. It's
So it
always
don't
been
matter who
illegals
was
here.
coming
There's
across.
always going to be illegals here. But when we talk about a massive influx,
who I'm referring
that's
to.
when something has to be done.
That's
That's
who
when
I'm referring to.
that's when a desperate measure has to be taken.
That
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I'm referring to as far as the ability to deport those people that have always been here and always been the problem, always taking the jobs and always committing the crime and all that stuff like that. That is the the talking point about aliens being in the country. That's been going on more than the last 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So there was an opportunity to do that, regardless of the magnitude of the problem at the time. It was still a problem. They still existed,
listen.
but they didn't get
Okay,
deported.
according to Dame, Trump wasn't as big as a deporter as Obama was.
So,
right?
I'll put up some numbers. I'll put up some numbers for you guys. All right. So let's talk about. So we're going because you say all this crime, right? So this is from total criminal offenses on record of aliens arrested by ICE. Trump from years 2017 to 2019 versus Biden years 2021 to 2023. All right. So these are the numbers. So let's talk about the exact numbers and then we can have the conversation, I think, fully because I want to make sure we're all educated enough to really have the conversation so none of us are missing what's actually happening. All right. So traffic offenses, DUIs under Trump, there were 235,000. Under Biden, there were 69,000. So there's a 71% decrease. Dangerous drugs under Trump, there were 220,000. Under Biden, there were 101,000. So that's a 54% decrease. Immigration, 183 under Trump, 88,000 under Biden, 52% decrease. Assault, there were 145,000 assaults under Donald Trump, 75,000 under Biden, a 48% decrease. Larceny, 57,000 under Trump, 21,000 under Biden, a 63% decrease. General crimes, 54,718 under Trump, 22,000 under Biden, which is a 59% decrease. Burglary, 35,000 under Trump, 16,000 under Biden, 55% decrease. Let's see, sex offenses, 20,000 under Biden, 15,000. 20,000 under Trump, 15,000 under Biden, a 24% decrease. Homicide, 5,837 under Trump, 4,834 under Biden, a 17% decrease.
Go back to sexual assault.
Sexual assault, 15,529 under Trump, 11,000 under Biden, 11,424 under Biden. So I wanted to bring this up. I can't really enlarge it, but I can give you the link, Shannon.
I can see it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to paste it in the comments so people can see it. So I posted that to say this crisis you talking about, it was worse under Trump. Like in these are the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what happens is Trump goes out and says something that's not true enough to where people just believe what he says, right? But him just saying it all the time doesn't necessarily make it true.
It's not because he's saying it, it's because of what I'm saying on the news. You know what I mean? And it's not just Fox. You know what I mean? Everybody's reporting the same news.
But what
when
I'm
it comes
saying
to the border,
if you've seen it on the news, it's still that's still anecdotal evidence. And I want to say this for everybody that's watching. There's a difference between data and anecdotal evidence. So anecdotal evidence means I can say, should black people always kill black people because 3 of my homies got killed. right? Like black people are the biggest murderers on the planet because I know black people killed 3 of my homies. That's anecdotal evidence. Then there's the actual evidence of what the numbers are. You know what I'm saying? So there's data and anecdotal evidence, and I think a lot of people in politics right now are getting caught up in anecdote. And this is on both sides. It's not just Republicans, not just Democrats. I think on both sides, people get caught up in anecdotal evidence, and things look a different way than they actually are on paper. Because again, the anecdotal evidence will tell you that the Biden administration is doing nothing on the border. They're weak on the border. They're not arresting anybody. That's what the anecdotal evidence will tell you. But the data actually says different. And that's why I depend on the data. I don't depend on what Kamala says. I don't depend on what Trump says. They say something, I immediately go either to the Department of Justice or try to find something that's not written by like a newspaper, because people like to put their slant on it.
Right.
So I try to find something that's not based on a newspaper. I try to find something that's based strictly on numbers to educate myself on that. And I would tell everybody who can.
I want to say this with all due respect to the data. It don't change people's experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Now.
I'm talking about anecdote. What you're talking about is anecdotal. When you saying people's experience, you're literally talking about anecdotal evidence. But the anecdotal evidence,
that shit matters though.
No, it doesn't. Not in the scheme. Not in the scheme of actual. Not if we're having a. Well, see,
because listen, you can give me spring water and tell me how good it is for me and tell me how alkalized it is and all that. But at the end of the day, if it's not quenching my thirst, then it don't fucking matter all the benefit that it has. You know what I'm saying? So the data is cool. The data is cool
because it's not quenching your thirst doesn't mean the water isn't good. Because that's what you're saying. Because
right, but
your personal thirst.
But it doesn't satisfy the need though.
Well, let's finish out your analogy, my guy. If I give you an apple and say apples are good for you, and every single study says apples are good, and every piece of data say apples are good for you, and I give you SB an apple, you say I don't like this apple. That does not now mean that apples are not good because you don't like the apple.
I'm not saying that.
That's exactly what you said. You literally just said, if I gave you some,
that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
SB, I can tell you
listen, go ahead, bro. You want to tell me what I said? How about you just listen to what I'm saying?
I did.
Instead of you trying to tell me what I'm saying. How about I tell you what I'm saying?
Bro, because I listen.
Maybe that'll help. If I tell you what I'm saying,
I'm listening to what you say, my guy. And you said if I tell you spring water is good for you, and I give it to you, and it's not quenching your thirst, you saying it doesn't matter. That's what you said, correct? Okay, so what I'm saying
it don't matter all the minerals and the essential vitamins or whatever the fuck that's in there, true or not. If it didn't quench the thirst, if it didn't fulfill the need, it's not doing enough.
So then that means SB, like Lynn Marie said. So then that means we're having two different conversations, because I'm having conversations based on facts, and you having conversations based on how you feel. So we're not talking about the same thing.
Hey, the fact is, America was better under Trump than it is under Biden.
Okay, based on what? And the floor is yours. Based on what?
Based on everything. Based on inflation,
mm-hmm.
Based on the borders, based on all this fucking LGBTQ kids don't have to tell their parents that they identify with different sexes, and they can get sexual augmentations without telling their parents, and all kind of craziness. You know what I'm saying?
And you don't think Trump?
You got grown men socking on women in the boxing ring in the Olympics. I know we don't control that. But all that shit is going on here too.
Well, just for context, my people, there wasn't a grown man. It was somebody who was born intersex. They never presented as a man. They've been raised as a girl their whole life. They're intersex, which means they were born with both. Yeah, and they were born with both.
Unfortunately, you shouldn't be socking on women if that's your reality.
Well, see, this all sounds like you're saying that healthy water wouldn't quench your thirst. It to me, it's like when somebody approaches a scenario like that, they already got made up in their mind what it's going to take to quench their thirst. So no matter if water quenches thirst as a fact, you're not going to be happy with that, because unless water deported motherfuckers, or something like that.
Okay, and I hear you.
It sounds like that you have a predestined.
Let me say this. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, and I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter. I'm just voting for Trump this time. I haven't voted since Al Gore. I felt like that was some bullshit. I was a Democrat, but the Al Gore, George Bush recount, I lost faith in the whole system. So I haven't voted since that time. Now I'm finally about to throw my hat back in the ring, and I'm choosing to vote for Donald Trump because I know that he's the best thing for America right now. Okay,
well, let me ask you a different question. That may not even be about what's best for America, but as a black voter, the historical racism doesn't bother you, the racist comments that he makes about blacks, the obvious disdain that he's made about black people, the obvious lies that he tells almost every time he's in front of a microphone. Or no, let me finish. When they point a camera at him, he'll say some shit that is obviously a lie, and you can actually go and don't even have to put in much effort to discount what he's saying and stuff like that. The way he fucked up the relationships with the other foreign powers that have been our allies in the past and stuff like that, and those types of things, they don't sway your opinion of him enough from just the way he presents to the black community and treats the black community and stuff like that alone. That, how do you feel? I mean, how do you answer to those types of things that are completely part of his character? It's not even a question of whether they are or not. They are, and that's why I honestly don't understand why some black people choose Trump. At Project 2025, there's another thing, but I'm just saying, well, overall, just the picture from a black voter perspective, all those things to get combined, how do you square choosing Trump? I'm just curious, because I've said that down through time. I wonder what even actual Republicans think when he goes on TV and says some outlandish shit or says some really offensive shit to Jewish people and stuff, families and shit like that.
Let me, Shannon, I'm not cool with police officers having immunity. Okay, I don't agree with everything nobody has to say or nobody is, about. There's gonna be some stuff about me that you gonna be cool with. There's gonna be some stuff with me you ain't cool with. Same, back and forth. So no, I'm not cool with the immunity. As far as the way Trump represents the black people, I have no problem with it. I don't know what he said or what he did to make you feel like he was being racist toward black people. I know a lot of people want to go back to the whole thing about the ad and the about the was it the Park 5 or whatever it was?
And him
what was the name of that?
And him being sued for discrimination on his properties of discrimination.
Yeah, all that. To me, you know what I'm saying? That's all just, as far as I don't think that was a racial thing about the Park 5. I think that was just somebody saying that, hey, if these people did this, or thinking that those people did that, they deserve to be dealt with harshly. You know what I mean?
Basically lynched.
As far as the renting thing, you know what I'm saying? To be honest, you know what I'm saying? It's think about it, man. If you doing business, it's certain niggas you ain't gonna want to rent to. It's a certain type of nigga you would. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be some niggas you not.
I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about
you talking about now. We talking about now.
Last 5 years, 8 years, and shit like that. You ain't gotta go back that far.
My camera's off. My bad. My camera's off. Hold on. I don't know what he said in the last 5 years.
Well, how can you support this dude? You don't even know what his
No. I'm saying I don't know what he said. I'm saying I don't know what he said that was wrong. Like as far as to black people, what did he say that was wrong?
Said at all? I mean, because you can't miss it.
If you saying what he said when he said what, because whatever he said, what I hear him say, I'm not offended by it. So what did he say that offended you?
Then never mind. And if you're not
What did he
offended
say
by
that
it,
offended you?
that's the
What did he
thing that I
say?
wanted to know about.
What are we talking about though? What did he say that if you want me to say what offended you? I'm telling you, I'm not offended by what he said.
I'm just saying what seemed to be offensive socially. Period. They've made headlines and shit like that.
Like what?
Like what? Different times. But I mean, I would just ask him, like,
don't put it on me that you don't that you're not able to tell me what he said that was offensive. I'm saying I'm not offended by what he said.
You don't know already, but I was just asking the question overall, not necessarily just what he said that's offensive, but I'm just talking about this whole overall package. What about when he lies all the time? Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the collective of
so listen. Everybody lies all the time. Biden lies. Kamala lies.
Not the president of the United States. Though.
I just said Biden lies. Kamala lies. Everybody's lying. All politicians are lying. You think Barack Obama didn't lie? What politician, what president got up there and told the whole truth and nothing but? Exactly. So, like I said, I don't agree with everything about Donald Trump. Donald Trump can be highly offensive. Donald Trump can be very inappropriate, insensitive, and he can be an asshole sometimes. But that's not why I'm picking him. That's not why that's not the to me. I'd rather that than somebody up there telling me how they going through the goddamn airport with bags of South Carolina greens and hot sauce. That's lying.
All right, let me read this comment from Pandora. She said, Mr. Trump's assessment of border security under his administration as the strongest in history is a matter of opinion. Apprehensions in the 2020 fiscal year, even as the coronavirus pandemic ground global movement to a halt, were higher than in 2011, 2012, and 2015. Mr. Trump also faced a surge in migration at the border. In the 2019 fiscal year, apprehensions topped 800,000 and were the highest in a decade. So that's just for your point, Suge, when you said there was not a crisis when he was the president. Like I was trying to tell you, more people were coming in when he was president. So my thing was, and the reason I wanted to have this conversation, because I've really been trying to ask Trump supporters what are the actual policies that he's going to enact and enforce. And honestly, none of y'all told me yet, bro. Like all y'all tell me what y'all personally feel. Like you talking about his personality. You like that he an asshole. You like that he say what he want to say.
No, I didn't say I like it. I just said that's not the. I said it's not cool, but that's not stopping me from that's not the turn off. Like a lot of people are turned off because he's an asshole. I'm not.
Right, but again, like I said, my thing was, and that's why I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to talk about what are his specific policies, because you say, okay, so let's say, for example, you say, I know you started and you said he was going to do the biggest deportation on day one. Now, right. I went to Trump's website. He didn't say how, and let me tell you why the how is important. Just like how he said he was going to build a wall, but he never said how he was going to do it. It never got done, right? So again, I just want to hold any politician, Joe Biden or Trump, accountable for the things that they say they're going to do. Correct. So if he said he was going to build a wall, and like V-Ray said, he had 4 years to, he had 4 years to build a wall, and he didn't. And like I showed you, deportations, people coming over the border was up under his watch. So even with all of his rhetoric, he still wasn't deporting people the way that he was claiming. He didn't build the wall. I think he started in Arizona, I want to say. I think he built like a little bit and then just stopped. So I just wanted to know, what do you think would be different this time and how would he do it? Let me read this statement quick. She said, but what is Kamala going to enforce? The fact that she's in office and has not done shit. So Tiffany, I don't know if she has not done shit, because there's actual legislation that I can point to that's happened under the Biden Harris
I
administration.
would like to hear some of that if you have time,
Okay.
because while we talk about what policies do the Trump voters, let's talk about the policies that the Kamala voters got.
Okay. Is there a specific policy that she did that you don't like that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, what is she going to do? What would be the reason to vote for her over Trump?
Okay. Well, I know, and like I said, Trump lies a lot, but the numbers will show you the economy has been better under Biden and Harris than it was under Trump. The economy was better under Barack and Biden than it was under Trump, and this is pre-pandemic. And conservatives, true conservatives, like the Republicans that I respect, like Sir Michael Singleton, real Republicans, they are true conservatives in the sense that they don't like for America to spend too much money. If you look at the debt that was built up under Trump, he outspent Barack Obama and Joe Biden in building up American debt. So again, the things, hold on real quick. So the things that conservatives are supposed to be known for, I don't think he's done a lot of them, right? But like I said, the economy is better under them. Crime is down in the whole country under the Biden administration. Migrant crime, which you said was a specific issue for you as a voter, right? That's an issue that's very important to you. Migrant crime is down in the country, and migrants crossing the border is down right now. So those are some of the policies. And another policy that they enacted, they removed marijuana as a Schedule A drug, so it's no longer a felony in the country. So I think that's something that's important. And they did. They drew up the George Floyd Policing Act, which is supposed to get.
They drew it up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because again, we got to get Republicans to vote for shit. Like the way government works, because I know you think you can do everything by executive order, but you can't. And let me tell you
No,
why.
I don't think that.
Well, not you, but
a
a lot of people do. A lot of people really think you could just do an executive order for anything. But what people don't know is if you do an executive order, it has to kind of be under another law that's already there. Which means if it's not something that's already in the Constitution or something that's already legislation, you can't just draw an executive order up for that thing. That's something that has to go through all the all the branches of the government, right? So hold on, let me get to some. We got comments coming in. Pandora said, I think he appeals to some black men because they covet the same white supremacist power that he holds.
Wrong.
No, that's not the case for you, but it's actually true. That is actually
wrong.
No, it's not. That's true. No, that's true.
I don't covet no white supremacist powers.
I said not for you, but there are some, and I could point you to some of their YouTube channels because I watch them. So there are some who feel that way. They are never accountable. We need to stop thinking they will help. We must help ourselves. Tiff, I agree. We must help ourselves, but also this is the legislation. This is the government that we have been given. So while we help ourselves, we also have to put pressure on politicians, Republican and Democrat, to get things done for us to be able to move forward, for us to have better lives. Like it's because I hate when people say we just need to do it ourselves when there's literally legislation that'll stop us from stuff. Like, for example, we can't say, oh, we just want to make things better for us between us and police if you haven't a president who wants to give federal immunity to all cops. And when he was asked about the Sylvia Massey, when he was asked should those cops get immunity, he didn't say no when that's blatant murder. So that's a problem, right? So that's something that we can't just make better and help ourselves with. So So that you can't kind of like that. Like we got to be a little more realistic. Let's be honest. What Democrats or Black Caucus done for the blacks ever? So Tiffany, I need you to go look for yourself because I can't tell you. There have been things that Democrats and the Black Caucus have done for blacks. So I need you to go look for yourself because there's like I feel like when people make these broad general statements, they haven't even went to look for themselves, right? They just hear these talking points and start running with it. So immigrants crossing the borders is more than ever. I just proved that shit ain't true. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I need my black folks to be more educated when we're having these conversations. And it's not, this information is not hard to find. Like, you can't just go based on what someone says or just based on what you see on the news. You have to like go find out what's actually happening for yourselves. And if you have a problem with it, like you said, the economy is worse than ever and taxes are outrageous. So the economy is not worse. The economy is better. The numbers literally show it. And I'm not saying that it's great for low income families, because like I said, we still have to do more for low income families, because the way the economy works, they don't feel it the same way that other people do, right? So the economy isn't worse. Taxes are outrageous, but you know why taxes change? Your guy Donald Trump, he changed taxes to help corporations and the 1%. Look it up yourself. And again, they changed the tax credit, trying to get some of that money back. They did the tile tax credit, and they did some other tax credits that's supposed to specifically help low income families after the Trump tax cut. Let me see. I have actually a political science major with a minor in law. Okay, well then why are you saying stuff that's not true then? If you're a political science major, you would not you should be able to know what you're saying is literally not true. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care what degree you got. Yes, sir.
Let me ask V-Ray a question real quick, because he asked me about how am I not offended by the things that Trump has said as presenting to black people. Are you not offended when Biden says if you're not black if you don't vote for me, and when he's eulogizing his KKK buddies, and when they pander to us talking about hot sauce and collard greens?
That wasn't
and stuff like that. No. I'm just saying Democrats. I'm dumping it all in one pot.
I'm the one that called out how stupid that was. That old girl came out of her mouth talking about she had hot sauce in her purse and shit. That shit is stupid when anybody does it. But that's just some of the stuff that, I mean, that's the stuff that I was talking about Trump was more than that. Like the racist shit. Like when he said the Haitians coming to the country, they all have AIDS. He says the shit about the COVID and call it the Kung Fu virus and shit like that, and his focus on wanting to have a dictatorship if he gets back in office, and cozying up with the Proud Boys and all that shit. January 6th, like this nigga's record is like long and trash, but and it ain't even really that black Americans only should have reasons to not support him. But I think that the whole thing with the Russian influence in the election, his shitty ass cabinet appointments that are a lot of are getting felony cases and shit like that. It's just like this dude's track record.
You know, Joe Biden got felony cases too, though, right?
I'm just saying this track record looks like something that you wouldn't try to put somebody back in power that did all this outrageous shit. But people.
But why would it be okay to put Biden back in power? Because like if he hadn't dropped out,
Biden's not on the table now.
No, what I'm saying is had he not dropped out, this would be about Biden instead of Kamala, and you would be saying you would rather Biden other than Trump. He's cozying up with Antifa.
Like if dude got back into power, do you think you as a black U.S. citizen would have more rights or less rights? They're already rolling back a lot of the voting rights things. They're voting rights laws and stuff like that. They haven't rolled back the whole package, but they've been allowed to chip away at it in little pieces and stuff like that. These things affect you. They might affect your children down the line.
Voting rights, you mean like as far as like mail-in ballots and all that kind of stuff?
Mail-in ballots, they closed.
I don't agree with that.
Well, okay, but that was done under his watch, and the reason that was done was to influence the election, to sway the election in a certain way. If you've got somebody in power that's willing to fuck the election up just so they can stay in power, that's not a person who's looking out for the country. That person is looking out for themselves. If you're willing to, like they closed down a bunch of fucking post office at the last minute. Like if you drive around your neighborhood now, you'll be hard pressed to find a fucking mailbox. They removed all these
Yeah.
mailboxes out of neighborhoods. You know what
Listen.
I'm saying? It's like this is chess match
It's
as
it's
manipulation
politics
of the
though,
country.
and all these politicians, Democrats and Republicans, are guilty of the same kind of dirty
I'm
games,
talking
though,
about
bro.
the integrity of Donald Trump right now. Not all the politicians. This is the shit this dude did specifically that could have fucked up the election. He lost anyway, but then when he lost, he didn't want to leave office and shit. He did all this other shit to try to stay in power. This is the motherfucker you want that you're throwing your weight behind and shit, bro. It's like
Well,
it
let
don't
me
make sense
hold on.
for
Let me hit
an
the comments real
American,
quick.
period.
Let me hit the
Okay.
comments quick. So she said the fact that people are actually defending Kamala is crazy, but I don't think you defend Trump either. Well, Tiffany, if you've been listening to me, I haven't defended anybody. I've been talking about facts. I haven't said anything about how I feel about anything emotionally. I've literally been talking about policy. That's it. And that's the thing, like, right? Like, I've been talking about policy when it comes to Kamala, and I've been talking about policy when it comes to Trump. That's all I'm talking about, because I think black folks get caught up in voting for personalities. I think black folks get caught up in voting based on emotion. I've seen black people vote against their own self-interest because they literally didn't like somebody, even though their policies would be better for them. So now I don't even look at the person, I look at the policy. And I learned to do that because I've actually worked on a couple of elections. And in a couple of elections, I ended up working for somebody that I didn't like personally because I think their policies were better for my community specifically. So I had to put aside like how I feel about that person and look at policy. And because of that, I changed the way that I view politics overall. So I don't look at the person. The minute they announce somebody, even in our local elections, I look at the policies and what are the policies they bring in. Because a lot of people can say what you like, but they probably don't even have any of the policies that are for you and for your community. So, Tiffany, just FYI, because you said earlier too, you said what you see in the media isn't always real. I don't depend on the media for my information. And I think that's the biggest problem, right? Is people depending on the media for the information because, like I'm telling my man SB, a lot of the media feeds you anecdotal evidence because both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are trying to sway you based on how you feel. They're trying to utilize our emotions against us on how I feel. And I try not to view politics based on how I feel because how I feel has got me in trouble in regards to the people that I have backed before. So now I look specifically at policy. And when I get on this show, I try to speak to policy on both sides so you can understand the policies that they both have and then make your own educated choice and your own educated decision. That's it. Pandora said nobody defended Kamala. We talking about policies and you're dealing in fallacies, which is true. She said the policies have not worked so far for Black America. They are more worried about every other race as well as the LGBTQ. So I don't disagree that we have not been getting the things that we should get as Black America. But you know what, Tiffany? Some of that is our fault too. Because I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Let me tell y'all a story. Story time. Quick story time. I was working on a campaign out here, and they asked me and a couple of people when we were doing Uncouth Radio. They said they knew I had a big community reach, so they wanted me to come in and they wanted me to help them with their outreach to Black folks because it was terrible. And the first thing I said, Black people don't fuck with you because when you do speeches, you sound like Trump light. You say like all his talking points. When you use woke, you turn Black folks off. When you say woke this, woke that, Black folks feel like you don't like niggas. Like I'm saying all this shit and I'm thinking I'm never gonna see him again. So I'm just like, I'm gonna get all this shit off my chest, right? I guess nobody ever spoke to them that way. And they called me back and was like, yo, we want you to come work on a campaign, for outreach. How much money you want? I don't want money. I said, I want you to put in writing these things that you will do if you are elected. Put it in writing, put it in an email, and I'll work on the campaign. And if you don't do those things, I have in writing that you said you was going to do it. And I'm going to make sure me and all my peoples put our foot on y'all neck for not doing what y'all promised. Right? They said, okay. They put everything in the email. And not only did they put everything on the email, they started using the things that I asked them to do as part of their election strategy. Literally, the stuff that I made, the list that I made was on their pamphlets and stuff that they were passing out, right? Now, because I didn't like this person before I went and met with him, if I wouldn't have did that, I wouldn't have had even the chance to be in the room to try to get something for our community, right? You know what they said to me? The campaign manager said to me, y'all the first black people to come in here and ask for something specifically for your community. And he said, we've had the Latino community come in, and the Latino leaders came in, the Latino community leaders came in. They asked for stuff for their neighborhoods. They asked for stuff for their people. They said we had the Asians come in. They asked for something for their neighborhoods. They said the black people that we bought who were supposed to be influencers came in. You know what they asked for? They asked for personal CCWs. They asked to get their homies traffic tickets off. They was asking for personal shit. So we have people who were in the room that could affect change that wasn't trying to affect change for all of us. They was trying to affect change for themselves. So I said that to say, Tiffany, when you talk about us doing things to help ourselves, we have to get involved in the machine and make our stake our claim. Because I don't know if y'all remember when Viragosa won for mayor. Do y'all remember that when Viragosa won? And Viragosa, literally, the first thing he said is, I'm putting on for La Raza. I'm putting on for my people with no shame. He was like, I'm putting on my people. That's who voted me in. And we need to have more of that kind of gumption. And we need to do more of that, not just in the presidential level, because people get so caught up in the president. We need to do more of that on a local level when it comes to everything for our councilmen, our mayors, our congressmen, congresswomen. Like, we have to put our foot on our necks. We have to show up to city council meetings. How many city council meetings do y'all go to in y'all neighborhood? Talk about the things that piss y'all off. We need to go to city council meetings. You need to go to the Capitol Hill. Go to Sacramento. You can go to Sacramento and sit in, and you can call your congressman and complain and talk to them about stuff you have a problem. How many of us black people do that? How many of us get involved as constituents and you utilize our power as constituents? Not a lot of us. So I said all that to say, let's look at policy and not people, because when we look at people, you'll get it wrong every time. But if you look at policy, then you can make your decision. So like SB, I respect you because you standing on what you feel like this is the policy that I like. I can respect that, right? But I don't respect is if you're standing on policy like the young lady Tiffany is saying, and like you're literally saying stuff that's not true. Like I can now that's what I don't respect. Ron said this is the point. We must set aside our personal wants for the betterment of our community as a whole. Until we do that, we will never get what we need. That's very true. But SB, Shannon Perkins sent me something, and I know you said you wanted to see what were some of the things that the Harris did as the vice president. All right.
Or not necessarily as the vice president, but what is she saying she's going to do as president?
Okay, but let me just tell you what she did first, because I know Tiffany had questions, said she ain't did shit. Like that was literally quote unquote.
Right.
So she says she's held hundreds of events since swearing in. So far in 2024, she has visited 24 states, multiple trips. She has made. She has led. Let me see. Oh, okay. So they basically talking about all she's done so far. So she's been home and abroad. She's done trips to Ghana, Tanzania, Zambia, Germany, the Bahamas, Indonesia. She has now represented the United States in 24 countries. She has met with, and goes to foreign policy, because I know people say she's weak on foreign policy. She has met with more than 150 world leaders to strengthen Americans' alliances. She has led the administration efforts on maternal health, resulting in damn it. Sorry, trying to read it. Your phone be changing the size. Led the administration efforts on maternal health, resulting in 47 states plus DC expanding postpartum Medicaid coverage from 60 days to 12 months. The launch of the National Maternal Health Hotline, which has connected nearly 38,000 individuals to free, confidential 24/7 support, and more reforms. She was the first to introduce a Senate bill to address the issue of Black maternal mortality. She proposed funding for uterine fibroid research, an issue that more than 80% of Black women were diagnosed with in their lifetime. She's chaired the White House Task Force on Worker Organizing and Empowerment, which mobilizes the federal government policy programs and practices to empower workers to organize and bargain with their employers, so you don't have what they call union busters. And I know that was something that was specific to you, SB. chair of the National Space Council, which advises and assists the president on development and implementation of space policy and strategy, oversees the first ever White House gun violence prevention, where she is pushing common sense gun safety and laws that at the federal levels, leads the administration in responses to reproductive rights, being under assault from leading over 50 convenings in at least 16 states and embarking on reproductive freedoms tour. Leads the administration's efforts to eradicate lead pipes over the next decade, reducing medical debt because they're trying to erase medical debt and not let it's already she's trying to erase medical debt and also let medical debt not affect your credit. Like you know how right now if you owe on like medical bills, it can affect your
Right.
credit. So they're trying to stop that from affecting your credit. Leading the administration's efforts to reduce home ownership appraisal biases. And as y'all know, it's been proven over the last 10 years that a lot of black folks' homes were being appraised for different prices than their white counterparts in the same neighborhood. So that's what that's about. Leads the administration to modernize and implement clean school infrastructure to upgrade schools with modern clean energy, number of record tying votes in the Senate. And that's something I think everybody should look up. The record tying votes that she's broken in the Senate. VP led on COVID-19 racial equity and the COVID response. Juneteenth, which became law during Biden Harris administration, was first introduced as a federal holiday by Senator Harris in 2020. And she revived the push to make lynching a federal crime, successfully passing anti-lynching legislation for the first time after 200 failed attempts in Congress to make lynching a federal crime. So that's something she's done as the vice president. I know things she said she wanted to do as president. She did speak about bringing down inflation. She did talk about paying teachers more. She talked about the black woman mortality rate. Of course, she spoke about
Right.
Reproductive rights.
Okay. Now they both talking about, tackling inflation. Is she saying how she plans on doing it?
So yeah, so she says she plans on tackling inflation by one. The first thing is, remember I talked to you about Trump's deregulation of the corporations, so
Right.
they can now price gouge. She was talking about changing those laws so the deregulation would change and it would be illegal to price gouge the American people, because for people who don't know what's happening with inflation, just real quick, after COVID, a lot of companies lost a ton of money, and in order to make that money back, since they didn't have any regulations on what they could charge people, they basically we gonna get everything we lost back, right? And they went on to raise prices on everything from goods to gas to basically anything that you could sell that they lost on. And that's where inflation came from, because there's no regulation in place to stop them from charging whatever they want. And one of the places where they put that regulation in place that has shown to work under the Trump administration, and this affects black people a lot. Under the Trump administration, insulin, the companies were able to charge whatever they want. So people were dying because they were charging $480 for insulin. And as you know, who that's going to affect the most is black
Black
folks,
people. Yeah.
especially other black people. So they changed that to where they put a cap on what they could charge for insulin, especially because they was charging that to people with Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they put a cap on that. So that's one of the things that they did in regards to inflation. So that's how they said they want to stop inflation first. And I know there's more than that, because inflation is a global problem as well. It's not just an American problem. It's a global problem. But specifically talking about here, they are going to cap the corporations, which is a big part of it. But there's more pieces and more tiers under that to continue to bring it down. And inflation is actually down. I think when they started, inflation was at 8.9%, and it's down to 5.7% since they took office.
Okay.
Yeah. Pandora said, let's start with what you know about the executive roles. So that's the other thing too, right? Because I feel like people are asking the vice president. They're asking things of Kamala that I've never heard asked of any vice president, right? It's almost like people acting like she was the president already, which I've never heard people be like when Biden was in office. People was never like, "What Biden doing?" You know what I'm saying? when
No,
when
I think when
Bush
she's given the job as in charge of border security, and it's highly publicized that the borders are at are being compromised at record breaking numbers.
yeah,
It just makes her look like a failure.
yeah, but well, like I said, we talked about that. The data shows different, and also because that's something else Trump started, right? Calling her the border czar. First of all, that's not a job. She was never deemed the border czar. She
No,
was.
no, no, but she
What she
was
was.
she
Wait,
was
wait.
she was
I got you. I got you. What
border
she was in charge
security.
of? No, she wasn't. This is what I'm saying, bro. What she was set in charge of was going down there and actually finding all the causes of the issues of border security, collecting the data and bringing that data back so they could utilize that data in a bill to have actual security that will work. That was what she was tasked with doing. She wasn't tasked with going down
But
there and
she never
standing on
even
the.
went down there though.
She did.
She didn't
She
say she did.
did.
She said she didn't.
Oh my God.
She
She did.
said I haven't been to England either.
She did. She did go to. I don't know
Europe,
about. I
Europe.
don't,
That's what
yeah, I
she
was saying.
said. Europe.
I don't know about Europe, but I know she went down there. And again, because this goes back to the bill that they were trying to pass, that the border patrol backed this bill, and the border patrol hasn't been backing any of the bills that's come across. So this was a bill the border patrol backed, and this bill based, and one of the things that it was based on was her getting the data to say, okay, there's certain technology we need to identify fentanyl coming into the country.
Mm-hmm.
That was in this bill, right? She came back and she said, all right, these are the places that people are coming in, and these are the places we have to patch up. That was in that bill. She came in and said, okay, this is how, because this is what she was tasked with as what you call the borders are, SB. How are the drugs getting in here? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so she went and she found out all those things, and they came and they put it in the bill, and your man said, fuck that bill. so so I'm just telling you what it is. She said,
Hey.
Pandora said, oh my
Okay.
God, she got criticized for saying do not come while down there. So, and she got
Do
shit
not
from
come.
everybody. Yeah, she said don't, she was telling people not to come illegally. She said it while she was there, do not come. And if y'all want, I could pull that clip up on YouTube
Yeah,
and I can play it.
let's get it. That'll be
Yeah,
cool.
let's get it. Let me pull that clip up on YouTube. So again, like I said, my man, I really just want people to have the real information, because Trump is really, really good at saying shit loud enough to where people be like, that shit true. Because he goes hard with it. But a lot of the shit my man said, it really literally just ain't the truth. It just ain't.
And having a social media platform doesn't hurt to be able to propagate untruths. You can frame them how you want to. Nobody can close your account on the platform
Right.
or anything like
But
that. So,
but is it fair that we just point out everything that he says is not true if we're not going to point out what everybody's saying is not true?
well,
You know what I mean?
you're
Because
just talking about facts in general, not
Well,
necessarily
yeah, I'm gonna say, because if there's things that you feel
lying.
like, if you feel like the Biden administration said that's not true or Kamala said that's not true, I have no problem talking about it.
Yeah,
but you don't know of nothing that they're saying is not true.
What are some things that I said that they have not? To me, they haven't been truthful about immigration, because you literally think they're not tough on immigration. I don't think they've been truthful, because they have been tough on immigration. So I don't think they've been truthful about that. I don't
Okay.
think they've been truthful about what else was big on their platform. I'm trying to think what was big on their platform that I feel like they haven't succeeded in, right? I know there was talk of trying to give black farmers, was it $16 billion? And they did try to pass they did pass legislation to give it 16 million, but that money has been tied up. by white Republicans suing, saying it's unconstitutional to give something specifically to black people. And I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I know a
I've
lot of
been
people.
hearing that.
I know a lot of people say that we never do stuff specifically for black people, but that's not true. What happens is when you do something specifically for Jewish people, nobody sues. When you do something specifically for Asians, nobody sues. When you do something specifically for black people, we get sued in the Supreme Court and it's deemed unconstitutional. Just FYI. And that's what ties it up. So because they tied that money up like that, they have tried to do another way and say, okay, we can get funds to people who feel they have been discriminated against and they can prove their loss of wages based on not getting government funds. So that's the way they tried to go around it without saying, hey, black people, this is the other way y'all got to do it, because those funds have been tied up in in Supreme Court.
Okay, get sued by who?
The Republicans.
Mm.
The Republicans sued for it being unconstitutional and they tied up in the court.
But
Yeah,
they'll let that. Go ahead, V-Ray.
What's that one senator's name or congressman that keeps bringing all those bills against anything to do with like black studies and black grants and shit like that? The dude who sued, and there was a women's group that gave a lot of grants to black women entrepreneurs and shit, and he sued to get that shit shut down and won. That was this year, I believe, that case was settled, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was let me Google it, this shit. But that's part of that. This is one of those dudes that's like one of the white nationalists that's coming out of that's part of the concept of coming out of the sheets and putting on suits and getting rising up in politics and starting to attack the laws that benefit blacks, like the
so what you're saying, like that. The Democrats want to do things to specifically benefit black people, but the Republicans won't allow it, is what you're saying.
Well, not only does that happen occasionally, not all the time, but stuff that's already in place and been in place, like the thing that I'm trying to Google right now, is not something new that needs to be passed or can get sued or get some injunction slapped on it to stop it. It's shit that's already in place.
Yeah, even like regular plain old affirmative action. Right? They got that done. They stopped affirmative action. Even Trump said in his platform he's going to stop anything that teaches anything racial, anything about critical race theory, anything. He said in his platform on what is called, not even Project 2025,
47.
Yeah, in 47, he said he's going to stop anything that basically teaches black folks about the history of America. That's what's in. He said that in his paper. So just to let y'all know, where it is. But let me play this clip for you so y'all can see. Sometimes y'all be falling for the banana tailpipe.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
And that was in Guatemala.
I believe. She said, I believe. I can't guarantee it, but you probably gonna get turned around. No, but like I say, man, I'm not Republican, Democrat, neither one of them. I'm not big on politics, right? But I'm big on what happens to this country based upon what people are doing and not doing, because it affects me. It affects the world around me. You know what I mean? So it's like when I look around and I see how things are going on and I see who's been in control for the last 3.5 years, Biden and Kamala looking like the culprits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that though, because you haven't supported me with any facts to show why, my guy. And that's what I want you to look into. Because you said based on your experience, that's what it looks like to you. And that's fine. But I want you to go find specifically the things that you feel like are affecting you and find out if that's really the case. That's all I'm asking you to do. Find out if you feel like they're the corpus for these things. Find out if that's really the case. You know what I'm saying?
So I found that clip. I put it in the private chat. It was Fearless Funds is the name of the venture capital firm. There was a nonprofit that got sued by Ed Bloom to disallow. I don't know how to post it in. So
I don't think I have access to the chat.
Can you see the comments?
Hold on, I'll post it.
I see comments.
I'll put it in there.
Yeah, I'm about to post in the comments now. All right, here we go.
And then I'll put the link in there too.
Hey, whoever Keela been trying to trigger me the entire time. I've been ignoring old Keela punk ass. Hey, listen. Hey, it's easy for you to get on here and judge me, but guess what, baby? Keela, you know what I'm saying? I represent the masses. And when I talk to people, we having these conversations. Everybody is not a political guru, like your girl Simone Sanders say. You know what I'm saying? No, everybody's not a political expert, and I ain't trying to be. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. Okay, well, yeah. Hey, you ain't gonna succeed, baby. you ain't gonna succeed because that ain't what I'm hanging my hat on.
And there's the link I put it, Dame, to the actual
Fearless Funds.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
so what is this about? What is this about?
This is what I was talking about, where the Senator or Congressman Ed Bloom brought a case against Fearless Funds to shut them down from being able to give Black women entrepreneur grants that they would do, kind of like a Black Girl Power type of organization that gave grants to Black women business owners and shit to launch their businesses and shit. He sued because there was federal grant money. He sued to shut them down, saying that it was unconstitutional and biased for them to have such an organization to provide that service to Black entrepreneurs only. And so
right.
This whole shit is shut down, or right now it is. And this was just in June. This was like June of a month or some weeks ago.
They discriminated because they do not help all races. So how are they able to get away with this, fellas? How are they able to get away with helping illegals or immigrants? Or
I just told you they don't sue. There's nobody who's the only time they sue.
That's Black shit.
Yeah, when it's specifically for Black, they have a problem with that, bro. Like the Republican Party don't want nothing specifically for Black folks. They don't sue when it's Asians. They don't sue when it's Latino. They don't sue when it's Jewish, because they've all gotten things specifically for them. They have all got companies specifically for them in their companies. But anytime there's something specifically for Black people, someone in legislation ties it up and says it's unconstitutional. We do realize that Congress has to vote on these laws, meaning we can have a Democrat as president, but the Republicans can control the Senate and stall bills and laws. Right. And that's why I say it's important to know.
So what about when Barack was president? We had the Senate, so why we didn't get nothing passed for Black people then?
You said when Barack, I agree. That's a criticism that I have for Barack, and I know his whole thing was being the first Black president. He was like, I probably can't go in there doing stuff specifically for Black people, because I know back then he would say, I'm the president for all America, not just Black America. So that's a criticism I have of him, and I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah, and guess what? I did know that, Keela C. Rain, with your punk ass. Right now, you have nothing to hang on. I implore you, Black men, to know something for yourself, not what you hear. Real talk. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Read your Bible, baby. It's all good. Yeah. Hey, you know who that is, Dame? That's your people?
Yeah, I know her. Yeah, I used to teach her son.
I ain't gonna call you punk ass no more. You all right with me? We just having fun.
Oh, she can take. Hey, look, she ain't tripping. Please believe she can take it. But I'm glad we're having this conversation, SB, because like you said, I know there's a lot of people who feel the way you do, right? I know there's a lot of people voting based on the way they feel like things are around them
Well,
in their, in their
the
orbit.
experience, the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. Like I know
You know what I'm
people
saying?
feel, I know people feel like, people feel like they're voting based on their things on their experience. But and like I said, the reason for me, the one thing that's a non-negotiable for me when it comes to Trump is the federal immunity. Because if you give federal immunity to every cop in the country, that's gonna hurt us more than anybody from day one. Like if you think immigration is hurting you, give these cops the power to shoot us and know that there's no consequences and know that there's no charges that can be brought against them because they
Yeah.
are protected federally.
They
That's
damn near have that now.
yeah,
They're rolling that back as a recent thing. That should they've had immunity for the longest time. You know what I think really changed a lot of that shit? Camera phones. Nigga,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's the one thing that pushed the tide for legislation and cases being brought and actual indictments being brought and approved, because you can make it look like you're about to charge a cop, and you know what I'm saying, they can't bring the indictment and so forth. But I think being able to have that proof, and it wasn't immediate when camera phones came along, you could film the cops. They were still like, nigga, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They still
Right.
doing it now.
Oh,
They
and,
still
They're
doing
doing
it
it
now.
now.
On
We
cam.
know, but I'm just
With the
saying
body
that,
cam on.
and thank you, Shannon. I saw that comment. I'm sorry to cut you off, V-Ray.
Oh, no worries. I think that that helped to usher in this kind of thing where they have to have the body cams and shit like that to show from their perspective, and it only gets publicized when it makes them look good, or when there's a public outcry like the latest shooting of the lady with the boiler with the hot water and shit. I was gonna actually comment on something else, but truly that is a recent phenomenon. I mean, at least in like the last 10 years or a little more.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that camera, we would the George Floyd thing would have, it's a lot of stuff that would have got swept under the rug.
Too bad they didn't videotape Michael Brown's killing, because that shit, the way that the police report was written up, it was just like
we'll never know what happened to Sandra Bland after they took her off camera, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to go to Pandora's comment. I was the biggest Kamala hater in 2020. I was too. And let me tell you, I was the biggest, and I was saying all of the misinformation shit that everybody has been saying about, she locked a bunch of black men up and she was locking niggas up for weed and all that. I was repeating all of that until we started doing a show about the elections when she became Joe Biden's vice president. And I was like, oh, if we're going to do a show about it, I got to go be able to speak informed about it. So I went to go look into it. And I was like, oh, shit, I had it all wrong. Like, I literally had her whole record wrong as a prosecutor. I had her whole record wrong as an AG. And just for people who don't know, like for people who say she locked up a bunch of black men for marijuana, under her, there was the lowest amount of arrests for marijuana when she was the attorney general. And when she was the district attorney, I think they said 1,000 people were arrested, not black people, period. There were like 1,000 marijuana arrests, and out of the 1,000, only 45 went to jail. Only 45 went to jail under her for marijuana. And of those 45, they said a lot of those went to jail because they didn't want to go through the program, because she started a program called it's slipping my mind, but she started a program where basically if you had a non-violent weed arrest, you could take some classes, go to school, and if you did the classes, you would get a job, and it reduced recidivism, which is like reduce people going back to jail. It reduced it by like almost 60% or something like that, because low-level offenders weren't going to jail like for the same thing that people who were doing like cocaine crimes were. So a lot of those people didn't go back to jail if they actually got a chance. And after you do the program and you get a job, the weed arrest was expunged from your record. So that's just for all the people who been spreading that she locked a bunch of black people up.
Can I ask you guys one question about Kamala though? And this is for everybody. Do you feel like she has that commander-in-chief energy?
I do.
Yeah.
I didn't, like I said,
Really?
I didn't in 2019 when she ran, but what I've seen since she's been put at top of the ticket, I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
And I think part of that is being savvy enough to put together the team around you. You know what I'm saying? She may not have all the political savvy or all of the, knowing all the inroads to policy, foreign policy, and this, that, and the third. But you know what I'm saying? But when you stack your cabinet correctly, then it helps you to avoid a bunch of missteps that you wouldn't have mastery of yourself.
Shannon says she's still on the fence to think if she,
Yeah. And you know what though, I feel like a lot of us are, like I see her trying to take on the frame of that. I'm watching her when she on the podium.
Please don't.
And she's trying to grasp it. Obama running her campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's one of the Florida mobile home concepts right there.
But she she's been known for, just what I said earlier, just kind of like repeating a whole lot of the same stuff, unburdened by what has been, and all that. She seems a bit lazy at times, you know what I mean? I just want her to really I want to feel like she's really capable. You know what I mean? Because she could possibly win. I don't know who's going to win, but if she wins, I want her to really own the position. I have more faith that Michelle Obama would be able to, as motherly as she is, I feel like she can own that space. Okay, I'm not so certain about her just yet.
Okay, it's funny you say that. So let's talk about that, right? You're not certain she can own her space. Now you're talking about a black woman from California who ran as DA, was the head prosecutor, then became the top cop in America, the AG, and then after that, Congresswoman, Senate, and then Vice President. Now, let's just talk about how
old ass run.
Yeah, like you talk about her resume and her.
She looked.
I'm just saying, whenever you talk about her resume and how hard it had to be for her to even get from a DA to Vice President to be in that space, the kind of balls you got to have as a woman, to be able to pull that shit off over and over again, like literally going up the ladder to be the Vice President of the country. And the way you have to maneuver, because we know not just black women, black people, when we get in those kind of positions, we have to make ourselves smaller for our white counterparts to not feel threatened. Right.
Right. And I saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want to see.
Yeah.
But she don't have to do that.
But she don't have to, because she's top of the ticket now.
Yeah.
Go back to Shannon's comment. Shannon's comment came off real quick. Suge, what does she need to do to swing your perception? Just own your space. You know what I mean? And say what you mean. Quit politicking so much. Just have a real.
So just stay accountable for what the shit that you're doing and saying.
Yeah.
And you know
have
what?
Real dialogue. Break the script sometimes.
So I agree with you there and I think that's gonna come soon because she hasn't had her first sit down interview yet, where people get to hit her with questions off the cuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what she do when she has, what happens when she has to do a sit down interview or a press conference where there's different people asking questions. So that's going to be interesting. So I think that's going to be the telltale when you talk about owning your space, because like we all on this panel have agreed, we've seen her make herself smaller for Biden, right? We've seen her kind of shrink to not overpower Biden because he's the president, and she probably wasn't trying to make him look bad with the things that he was basically lacking there. We all know he was lacking.
Right.
So like V Ray said, but now she's at the top of the ticket. This is what I saw when she came out guns blazing. I said, oh shit, I haven't seen Kamala like this. And then a homegirl of mine who don't fuck with Kamala at all, she hit me, and this one I knew. I said, am I tripping? Or is Kamala on some different shit than she was in Twitter? She said, nah, you're not tripping. She said, it looked like she sat in a room with some black folks and they finally said, we're gonna let you loose. it looked like they would like go out there and be you. And I said, okay, cool. I thought I was tripping because when I watched the first time, I was like, when she first got nominated, she did her first, you know what, not when she got the official nomination, but when Biden first stepped aside, she did her first appearance. I was like, okay, this is different. Then I saw her first campaign ad when I'm like, oh, the Democrats doing something I haven't seen them do in a very long time, and that's they ready to fight, like go at her, go at Trump directly, because they
Right.
was on that you go high, you go low, we go high bullshit.
Mhm,
But I'm like, no,
mhm.
like it looked like Kamala campaign is like, no, we getting in the mud too. Fuck it, it's time to
Yeah.
get in the mud. You know what I mean? And but
Right.
it don't to me, them getting in the mud, it don't feel fake. Because again, like I said, when I feel like she wasn't connecting, I feel like she was very disingenuous, and I feel like
Mhm,
she was trying to be fake Obama, and it wasn't working. So I feel
mhm.
like this go round, what I've seen for her campaign is like, no, she's really starting to be herself, and I think
Yeah.
that's the only reason it's starting to connect. And I'm interested to see what happens when she does her one-on-one interviews, because that's when she's gonna get hit with the hard-hitting questions, and we're gonna get to see how she really handles the heat. But I will tell you the reason I think she hasn't done it, because her campaign has probably had one of the most perfect rollouts you could ever have. And they continue to be patient with the way they're rolling it out. Because remember when they first came out and they were doing their endorsements, and everybody was like, Obama ain't endorsed her yet, so he ain't fucking with her. Obama ain't endorsed her. Remember that?
Yeah.
They had that Obama phone call days before she actually posted it, because the day she posted it, I was like, oh, that's what she had on in her very first rally. Like that outfit she has on, she had that on Sunday. They didn't drop the
Mhm,
Obama endorsement till Wednesday, because what they're doing is they're letting shit hit the news cycle and letting it run,
mhm,
and then when
mhm.
it's dying down, boom, we're gonna do something new. Like, okay, we're gonna do our endorsements. We're not gonna drop the Obama because that's the biggest one. We're dropping that one last. Okay, after we drop that, boom, now we're gonna do the rally. We're gonna have Meg Thee Stallion and we're gonna have Quavo there talking about gun violence. Boom, she did that speech. Then after that, they dropped their campaign, their first campaign ad. Then after that, they're like, okay, now it's time to start talking about who's gonna be the vice president. And they ran like a whole week on CNN and Fox in the news cycle about who's going to be the vice president. And the only airtime Trump was able to get in during that time was when he went to the NABJ conference. So then he got back in the news cycle for a couple of days. And then what happened? The actual announcement of the VP pushed him back out of the news cycle. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm. I
So
get it.
they've been doing a very good job of rolling her out and utilizing the news cycle to keep this surge that she's got with the party right now. So I think the next piece to that is now going to be who gets the first big sit down interview with her, and it's going to be the
Mhm.
first big
And the
national
debate
sit
as
down.
well.
Yeah, so what it is, she'll have the first big sit down, and then she might do something that's more viral, like with the Breakfast Club, or maybe a sit down with Charlemagne directly. You know what I'm saying? And that'll lead her right into the debate. And I think
Mhm.
that's smart how they're doing the rollout.
Or
But
still
I
go
do,
there.
yeah, but I do agree with you. I'm looking forward to see what she does when she has to be off script. Off script.
Let me answer Keela's question. I don't I don't I'm not in favor of a woman president, but I don't necessarily disapprove if she is fit for the job. So that's my answer. So I don't have an issue. I'm not biased against women, but I do I'm kind of old fashioned where I feel like um certain things are for men and certain things are for women. And it don't mean that women can't be in charge of certain things, but when it comes to the leader of our nation, I just would prefer a man, just like I would prefer a man fireman or a man police officer, a man a person in the military. I would prefer a man, but I don't necessarily disapprove. So I want to answer that.
Yeah, so there you got your answer. Um, but yeah, like so I guess once we see her sit down interview, we can revisit that, right? We can come back, we can all come back and revisit how we feel about her first big sit down interview and talk about that. And then
Hey,
talk
you know,
about
if she can have that energy she had toward Pence in that debate, if she can walk in that energy, I think she'll be dope.
I
As far
think
as I think she'll have a bigger fan base.
I'm telling you, I think she's
I
going
think
to.
it'll be bigger than that.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be bigger than because again, I think she was tempering herself even then for Biden. I think she was tempering her president. I think she's gonna because I think that's why she pushes so hard. Like, yo, let's debate, because I think she's ready to like walk in that, right? Like she's ready, like, let's go. And I know everybody been talking about Joe Biden's decline, but I feel there's also been a decline in Trump. Not bad as Joe Biden's, but watching Trump's last few rallies and the ramblings and the shit he been saying and talking about Hannibal Lecter like he's a real person, and it
Drinking out
feels
of
like
2 hands and shit.
yeah,
Like,
like it feels like there's
dexterity.
there's also a mental decline going on over there. But like I said, because he was put up against Biden and Biden shit was so bad, it contrasts, and I think people miss what was because I was like watching Trump, and then I went back and watched some of his 2016. And I'm like, oh shit, his energy different too. Because Biden's energy was different, right? Like you look at
Right.
Biden's energy when he won. So I went back and looked at Trump's. I'm like, hey, Trump energy is different in the way he's speaking cognitively. I'm talking cognitively. The way he's speaking and the way he goes off on those rambling tangents. Because we know Trump always talks shit. But now it's getting to the point where it's like almost like you watching your crazy old uncle on Thanksgiving just saying wow shit. Like everybody got that one uncle, like, don't worry about Uncle Donald. He's just saying wow shit. So that's what I've seen from watching his last couple of rallies. And I think he has a problem. He has a vice president problem.
Oh yeah, that's the part I wanted to address. I think that was a mistake that he made because he thought he was going against Joe Biden.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think he would have picked somebody different.
Had
Yeah.
he knew that they was going to do that, he wouldn't have picked JD Vance.
I agree. And I think people know your boy Biden. Your boy Trump is egotistical. He don't want nobody trying to rain on this parade. And I saw there was an interview where they had Vance and Trump together, and Vance kept jumping in, answering shit, and Trump was looking like he was gonna choke that nigga, dog. Like this ain't your show. And I think they say the biggest thing you want your vice president to do is do no harm to your campaign. Like just don't fuck up. And I feel like JD is going against the number one rule. Like, first of all, one of Trump's biggest bases was white women. And you get up there talking about cat women who can't have babies. You are talking to Trump's white woman base.
He just said that, or what did he say that before he got picked?
So he said it before he got picked, and when he got picked, they brought it back up, and he doubled down. He said, "Okay, I want to apologize. I want to apologize to the cats and the dogs." So he doubled down on it. So I was like, "Bro, you just pissed off a big base of your constituents because I think they said 70% of white women voted for Trump." The first elections or something like that.
It was a
big number. So
yeah,
you got your vice president out here running, and you already was gonna lose some because of the reproductive rights. You was gonna lose some, you was gonna so then you do that, and then on top of it, you go in and antagonize these women that you really, really need to get over the hump. Because again, like I told you, he lost a lot of his base with those baby boomers passing away. You know what I mean? So he's also searching, as you can see, trying to find where he's going to get that extra boom from that he had the last election. So, I agree with you, Shug. I think if he would have known that he was going to be running against Kamala, I think he would have picked a more balanced ticket. But I think because he just was like, we about to whoop Biden ass, which they was, because he like, we about to whoop Biden ass. I think he was like, we could double down on MAGA, and we could just go hard in the paint. You know what I'm saying? But now I think he regret a little bit. And they said, like, because he even said at the Black Journalists event, he was like, oh, the vice president don't matter. And I was like, oh, shit.
He did say that.
I was like, damn. So that's when I was like, oh, there's a disconnect there. You could tell, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, it's about the president ain't really. And I'm like, In most elections, yes, but this one specifically, because your vice president is putting himself out there, like literally doing the same amount of stump speeches that you're doing, I think it's gonna make a difference. I think the vice president debate, because they're both big personalities, and because Vance has put himself out there and he got his own brand now, I think the vice presidential debate is gonna be bigger than it usually is. And I think the presidential debate is probably gonna be like on some record breaking shit, honestly, between the two of them, because there's a lot of undecided voters. There were people who were called devil haters. I don't know if y'all saw that stat. There was a stat about devil haters they didn't like Trump and they didn't like Biden. So it was like, I'm basically just gonna pick one out of the two, and I don't like neither one of them. But they said what happened is the amount of devil haters since Kamala had went to the race has been reduced. And that doesn't bode well for Trump. And what also doesn't bode well for Trump, one of the biggest reasons Trump was gonna win was because a lot of people were just gonna not vote. And historically, and y'all can go back to maybe the 1950s, I want to say, every time there's low voter turnout, a Republican wins. Every time. Low voter turnout, and which is why they always trying to suppress the vote. They don't want people to vote, because every time there's high voter turnout, it's a Democrat, historically. So I think they were banking on losing, like Biden losing so many votes that people just wouldn't vote, that there would be a low voter turnout for the Democrats, which I think was going to happen. Like people were staying on the couch, you know what I'm saying? But I think now that Kamala has energized a lot of the base, I think that's something that the Trump administration should pay attention to, and they might have to worry about, because they still talking like they think it's going to be an easy win. And I think that would be a mistake for them to continue to be arrogant and think they're going to knock her around the same way they was going to knock Joe around. I think that'll be a mistake on the part of the Trump administration to believe that this is going to be the same race as it was with Biden.
Did I miss the Drake drop?
Yeah, did you get a chance to listen to it?
Nah.
I'm gonna text
Hey,
it.
Listen.
I'm gonna text it to you so you can check it out.
Congratulations to King Kunta for winning the battle, but you ain't got no new songs, bro. And your snippet is a banger, and the song should already be out. What are you doing?
Our sentiments exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what everybody's saying. 4 albums in 12 years, nigga, I can divide. You know what I'm saying? You ain't putting out enough product.
Well, when they were saying he was off calendar when he didn't clap back at Drake's last piece, but when he came, it was like
he came, but Drake had to pull him out because he like, man, I've been waiting 2 weeks. Where's the song at? And when he came out guns blazing. He won the battle. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But will he win the war?
When he drop, he gonna come
okay, because Drake gonna keep it pumping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the problem is when he dropped the drop, and like I said, check it out for yourself. The drop ain't good. It ain't bad, but it ain't overwhelming.
It ain't good. Okay.
No, it ain't. It's decent. But you can't come back after that battle with something that's cool.
I don't think he should have came back right now. I think he should have made niggas wait.
That's what we said.
The same thing.
He should have went away for a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
He should have went away for a little while, and he should come back. And when he do come back, he got to come back with something like you got to come back with banger.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's just showing people that he's unfazed about the shit and still continuing his, journey as an artist.
Yeah.
But he phased though. He phased.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Come on, V-Ray. I'm sorry.
I was just saying strategic though. To what Rex was saying, I think strategically that just wasn't the. I'm still here is not the position you want to come back with. Trick or treat, nigga.
Working, nigga.
Yeah, he should have just let that shit die down. I'd have hit niggas around Christmas or something.
Exactly. Let this summer die out. Let Not Like Us die all the way out.
Yeah.
Let the slip die out.
On the sidecar subject, what do y'all think about these concerts getting canceled in Canada for the TDE artists? Because Sir's concert this week got canceled.
Hey, Drake flexing his muscle where he can. Like he's phased. That shit right there is showing he's phased. Like he hurt.
How could you not be?
You know, that's like when your girl break up with you and you should be in the club dancing with the hurt face,
Hey,
trying to
and
act like you don't care.
you don't have to call, come on and shit. It's okay, girl. You be sitting there hurt, partying like a
Yep.
motherfucker.
That's what I feel like Drake is on right now. Like Drake trying to show he ain't hurt.
Champagne and shit.
Yeah, like I think,
Shit.
yeah, I think you have to try to show you ain't hurt. Damn, bro, this show been 2 hours and 50 minutes. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is like
this
a
was-
barbershop talk today, man.
Yeah,
That's-
for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
Hey, I like how we was able to disagree and kind of, collide a little bit and still be
Yeah.
cool at the end. You know what I mean? I love
Yeah.
that, man.
Right.
That's what we got to do more of.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
On everything.
And that's why like I said, I really wanted to offer you the conversation, the chance to come on, because I think we need to have more conversations like this, because for me, like I said, it's all about education for everybody, right?
Right.
And I think all our voices need to be heard, regardless if we agree. Because like you said, we ain't always going to agree. But if there's people like you who are out there in the atmosphere, we need to talk to y'all.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we can know what's actually going on out there in the streets as well. Because like you said, everything don't show up in the poll. Everything don't show up on
In the
news,
data.
in the data. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have these conversations. And also because sometimes we learn something, both of us. Like we learn something about the other side, or we learn something about why people feel the way they feel. And that can help us even in our conversations moving forward.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I appreciate you coming on, Suge. And like I said, I would
appreciate
love to
you
have
having
you
me.
back. Yeah, I would love to have you
will.
back. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, definitely want you to come back. Especially like I said, as this shit heats up, when we get to like debate time and when we get to her doing her sit down and all that, I would love to have y'all come back, because to me this feel like the way it's supposed to be anyway, because everybody agreeing, that shit ain't fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody agreeing ain't fun, but having conversations like this, I feel like this is where you get to the good
I'm gonna have to
shit.
give me another person that kind of low key, kind of Trumpish a little bit though.
Hey, go on to get them.
Hey, they all on me in the comments and on the live. I'm like, I had to fight
We're
for my
getting enough
life.
followers. We're getting enough followers to ask Trump himself to bring his ass on here.
I know you,
Shit,
hey, you might
I
have
know,
you might have to get Brain to come on with you next time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Brain. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna hit him up. Yeah.
hit him
I hope
up.
he got some data though. Nigga, you gotta come with the data, nigga.
We got all memes. I'm telling you, all memes all day.
Hey,
Yes,
man,
sir.
this is a great show, man. I appreciate everybody who's been in the comments rocking with us the whole time. Yo, thank y'all so much. Tell everybody we'll be back next Wednesday. And like I said, we're gonna be talking about the culture, the politics. We talk about all of it, man. It ain't just about the politics. We talking about music. We talking about what's going on in the streets, what's going on in the culture. And if there's something that y'all want to talk about specifically, hit me in the inbox, text me or whatever, and I'll add it to the docket. And we'll talk about that too, because there's always something for us to chit chat, talk about. Like V-Ray said, tonight felt like barbershop talk. So this has been Wild Thoughts with SB Global. Hey, SB, tell them about your podcast too, so where they can find you and go check you out.
I'm SB Global. My platform is called Truth, Lies, Reality. They all relative. You know what I mean? I got to get Dame on. I'm formerly Apartment 107, but we trying to evolve. We actually are evolving. Let me scratch that trying. And you can catch me on Instagram at Truth Lies Reality, SB Global on YouTube, and SB Global Connect on Facebook.
So y'all go follow up, man, and make sure y'all check out, him and his space too, so y'all can see what him and his peeps talk about. They have really good interviews as well. He, like us, he talks about all kind of shit, So make sure y'all go check him out. This is one of my fellow generals from high school. Damn, they're like family. Our aunts are
yes, sir.
My aunt and his mom best friends and shit. So like for real, go all the way back. So like I said, man, love you. Thanks for coming on,
bro.
Yeah,
thanks. I wish I still did music, man, and then maybe we can do some of that. But I'm retired now. I'm old.
We're gonna have to get you out and get a verse. We have to get you out
about it though.
Yeah. We got to get you out and get a
at
verse.
least something. Just throw something on there.
Yeah, just throw something. Yeah, we gotta do a record.
You know what I mean?
Something.
Let's figure that out. Let's figure that out.
Yeah, we could do so. We always do a record together. I'm always down for that.
Put me on the course.
Hey, just to tell y'all some crazy shit. Like we did a show called Senior Recognition back in high school, and I did they tracks for them. Like when they was performing, I did they tracks when I was first starting to produce. They were one of the first people that I produced was SB right here. One of the first people I ever did a track.
Dope
for.
from the very
That's
beginning.
dope.
That's why he's still here today.
I
That's
appreciate
dope.
You know
that,
what I mean?
That's dope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. At the crib over there on 74th, everybody coming in, recording, and he was giving me his input. Like, I want a record like this, boo, boo, boo. So I learned a lot myself, even in that shit, about production and dealing with an artist. And that was like one of my first times not producing just for myself, but producing.
Hey,
for,
but you was like a
artist.
professional from day one, though. Like I didn't know that you had no experience. You was like a fish in water to me. It was like you was taking everything out, all input I was giving you. You was like, okay, and it came out exactly the way I wanted it to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that shit was fun, man. That shit was dope.
Yeah.
So, we stick together, man.
Oh, and that was my live band. I had a live band one time in my life, thanks to the Wild Bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's classic, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all for that, for real.
Oh, absolutely, man. No, it was a good time, man. And like I said, we go back. So even when we talk about this shit, man, this shit don't stop what we got going on.
And it shouldn't. But you see it on my coming out video, I had to act like I had to tread water because people will cut you off if you say you voting for Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's gotten to that point, to that place. But you know what I'm saying? Because of what everybody's been going through, and like Pandora said earlier, because of like the voter fatigue and just the American fatigue, I kind of understand why people are making different choices right now. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't see it as like some crazy thing anymore because I'm like seeing, just how everything has been going. And like you said, people's personal experience will lead you to make different decisions. And, like I said, I just want to talk about it because sometimes I like to understand what's going on. I like to understand people's thought process behind it and understand what makes people think, the way they do and go the way they do, because that's interesting to me. Because like you said, we all have different life experiences. So, it ain't about
send me that data that you posted too, man, that you put up during the video if you can.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I
want to look more into that. I got to get my data bars up so Keela won't be on my ass like she was through the comment.
Yeah, no,
yes,
I got
sir.
you. All right, man. We're gonna get out of here, man. Until next time, this has been Wild Thoughts. We will see y'all. I'm going to give me some food and go to sleep. See y'all later.
All right.
Stop the world, let me off. I don't like this destination. I like a transfer to the express line. I gotta get off. Electric slide into the double doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know when it is time. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. 1 star, would not recommend it.